What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comic. What's good, everybody? Peace. Corey Adger, happy Monday. What's good? This is the 6th element of hip hop. I am your host, Reno Noir. This is my co-host, Stu Dog and Sada, and we have a very, very special guest today, Mr. Haydes himself.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
Lord of the Underworld. What's up, man?
That's good.
So, yeah, Mr. Haydes is the creator, founder of NE1world ASAPimagination. Huge, a really big conglomerate, I guess you would call it, gathering a group of really talented comic book writers and artists, and you guys putting out some great stuff. And as far as like, for real, and a lot of the indie, creators and stuff that we've talked to, and I mean, you guys are way beyond that level. I mean, you guys are really doing your thing. Yeah, I
appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yeah, wildly impressive, man. And you guys are even doing a con, right? You got the NE1 con. Tell us about it.
So this Thursday and Friday. So this Friday is officially our anniversary. 2 years since I started the company. Way back 2 years.
Yeah.
But we kind of thought it was worth celebrating because we were like, well, this. Oh, thanks, man. We thought, it's been 2 years. It's been a crazy kind of time for us, and we started 2 years ago with a comic and a book, and just pretty much me and Laurie Cunningham and a guy called Kyle Wright, and then now it's like we've got 3 platforms. We've got our main continuity, and all we've got. In that we've got all the titles that are based in one world, so it's Points of Villainy, Points of Virtue, Messiah, Opsec, Dead of Night, Sister Grimm, Whole. They're all in one world. Then we launched our second platform, which is the NE1world. There you go. And that's where we publish for other people. So we publish other people's work, and that's where. And I know you've spoken to these people. So Bob, Non-Union Psychic for Lance, Dog Eaters for Malcolm Wong. We have Origins and Birth of Golden Arm, and Meat Machine was our most recent one through the NE1world. And it's been crazy.
You even have books like novels, right?
Yeah. So Points of Villainy, Points of Virtue is a prose anthology. And then when we launched the NE1world, we did it with another anthology that was for charity, for the Dyspraxia Foundation. That book's still available, people.
Yeah, I remember that. We had you guys on for that show, or for
that's
that book.
You had 4 of the guys on, which which we're really grateful for. And then we had that out, and then we also had cheers, Lance. And then we also had our third platform, which is ASAP Minis, which is where we do kids' books. So it's really weird to go from like, I wrote a book called Dead of Night, and then I've recently written a book called Bernard the Butter Bear. So it's like a complete contrast. But I started Minis for my son, essentially. He wanted to be involved in what I did, and the content wasn't age worthy for him. So I started Minis, and then we did D'Artagnan was the first book, then we did Bernard, and then we're going to be doing a comic about a dyspraxic superhero as well. That's coming out next year.
And I remember that, and we talked about that too, and I just wanted to say, man, that is such a cool thing, so impressive, man, that you did that. Like you said, I mean, your kid, he wants to be involved. You just create a world for him. It's like, you know what? Can't really get down with none of these super adult books. You know what? I'm gonna give you a whole a whole universe, man. That's just awesome, man. Kudos,
Thank
man.
you, man. Yeah, thank you. And it's good as well because he's now decided that he wants to write his own book. So we started writing his book, and he does make me laugh as well because he's very fact. Like he'll literally, if it's in here, it's coming out here, and we did all this. I love it. He's got no filter. He's incredible. But we were talking, and then he was like, "So I'm in D'Artagnan book," and I was like, "Yeah, you're in 2 stories." And he's like, "Right." And then he was like, "And then you're going to do a comic with a superhero like me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he went, "And then I'm going to write a book and you're going to publish that." And I was like, "Yeah." And he just went, "Not bad, not bad." And he takes it all in his strides, no problem. It's all good. But yeah, he's like he's my little hero. He's wicked. So that's why I did minis really for him.
That's great. That's cool, man. And he gets to be in the comic. And so dyspraxia, give us a breakdown of what that is.
So I sum it up to people in a much easier way. It's his radar is off. So I once described it like the dictionary term, and lots of people look at me and you can then see them reaching for Google. Right. His radar is off. So straight lines are an issue for him. He'll go off. He has trouble with things like, so when he writes, he can't keep a straight line. He'll go into an automatic swerve, but then it also makes things like running. So when he does sports and things like that, he has to give it like that extra kind of 10-20% on top of it
to make sure he's going in the right direction and doing the right.
Yeah, it's kind of like he has to work extra hard to make sure he knows what he's doing. One of his teachers, she did a course and she was talking about it, and she was like, "It's like if you spun me round, several times, and then went run,
right,
off you go, And then what they also did was, and then to teach them what it's like for a dyspraxic child to write, so they'd say write your name. So she wrote her name, and then they blindfolded them and went write your name again. And you do this.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he deals with it every day. He deals with it well. He doesn't complain. He has to do several exercises every day, and he has to do physio every day. I mean, I'd complain if I had to do physio every day. Sure. I complain that I have to walk upstairs to go to the bathroom.
Right.
It's but he doesn't complain. He cracks on. That's awesome. So I'm super proud of him. He's definitely a superhero.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely, man. What's his name?
Alfie.
Alfie. That's right. Yeah. Shout out to Alfie, man. It reminds me of dyslexia. Like dyslexia, dyspraxia. Is it similar? Because like dyslexia has you crossing things. Dyspraxia has it going off.
Yeah, so I dyslexia, like the way I look at it is dyslexia is in here, and you can do that, whereas dyspraxia is here. So he knows, So he knows what he wants to write, he knows what he wants to draw, but it doesn't always work out that way. But again, it's he deals with it well, and he takes it all in his stride. I mean, he's on the I know you guys would call it soccer, but he's on the football team for his age group here. And just he just goes for it. So he's a proper little dude.
That's a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. He's wicked.
Yeah, man, most definitely. So so NE1Con this weekend, right? August 25th, 26th.
It's this Thursday and Friday. Yeah. So like I said, we thought
Thursday and Friday. I thought it was Friday and Saturday. Oops.
No, that's Thursday and Friday, because I was going to do the Friday and the Saturday, and then I realised, unlike me, some people have lives, which is just rude. So I thought if I do it in the week, chances are, people will come back from work and go, I can watch this. It's fine. I don't need beer. So we did it Thursday and Friday, and we just wanted to celebrate with some things. We wanted to celebrate the people that have helped us. We want to celebrate the people, like I said, we've gone from one comic and a book to 3 platforms. There's plenty of people to celebrate.
Sure.
Plenty of people to give props to, give flowers to, and thank. And on top of that, we've got some announcements we want to make. We've got some things that we want to get done. So yeah, I know it's a bit difficult to see there, but on
it is. So, but August 25th, 7 p.m. Intro to NE1 Con 2-year recap plus flowers on YouTube. So this con is a virtual con. It's not a physical place.
No, because we're all over the world. Like, I mean, literally, the say me, Laurie, and Nem, for example, who have been there kind of since day one. You know, I'm in the UK, she's in Canada, and you know, Nem's in Los Angeles. So it just made the most sense to do it, you know, virtually. And you know, a lot of our friends are scattered everywhere, so we just thought, yeah, let's do it that way.
Right. Makes sense.
So yeah, we did that, and then we've got Matteo, who's the artist for OPSEC, doing artwork at 8 p.m. for he's going to do one drawing over 2 days. He's a great artist. Look at that. You know, he's stupidly quick. Like he's like ninja quick. You'll go, can I have a picture of? Oh, you didn't let me finish my sentence. Thank you. Yes, that's brilliant. He's just like, yeah. So he's brilliant. So he's going to be doing across the 2 days. Then we've got after that, I think we've got. We put out a call to do some fan art, and we did a thing for the cosplay. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I did. We have a character called Foe, and Foe is recognizable by his mask. And what we did is we created a free downloadable version of the mask on the website, and then created a campaign called friend of foe instead of friend or foe. So you can download the mask, cut it out, put it on, take a picture, hashtag friend of foe, and then tag us in it, and we're going to do like some free digital comics and that for people who have done that.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah. And then we did one so for Laurie with her book Sister Grimm. She did a face paint of what the character looked like. So I decided we'll put that in as well. And it's kind of like this split, like kind of peeled down skeleton face, and it looks wicked. Like
nice.
So we did we called it like hashtag Grim Face. So we've actually had people who have face painted and done that. So we're going to show off the artwork, show off the cosplay, and
again, cosplay, right?
Yeah, thank people for it. And then at 9 p.m. we've got Nerd is the Word. Basically, I kind of wanted to just dick about for a bit. You know, some stuff's informative, and then some stuff I just wanted to mess around with. So that's just a game show. I'm going to have some guests on, fire some nerdy questions at them. You know, ham it up as a bit of a, you know, kind of host and, you know, game show host, you know, and then they can win prizes, and we just have some fun for you know, kind of half an hour or so.
Who gets to be a guest on the show? How do you get to participate in the game show?
Well, originally I was like, because there was one person who had asked, because what I wanted to do was also have people on who have got stuff that we could also advertise at the same time. It's like twofold.
Right.
You know, so we've had someone who's just had his Kickstarter campaign, and I just thought, well, that's ideal. Bring him on. You can talk about it very, you know, briefly. Say, I've got this Kickstarter campaign. We'll put the details in, and away he goes. But it's kind of open, really. I mean, we want to just have a few guests on just to have some fun. So we'll probably put a bit of an open call out for it, and if people want to, you know, give us a shout beforehand, then kind of by all means. But we've got it. Yeah, I think we've got that for like, you know, we've put it down for an hour, but if it goes for 45 minutes, half an hour, I'm not fussed. I'm pretty easygoing.
That sounds fun. Yeah, man. I know me and Stu and Sada would definitely be down.
Sack, done. Wicked.
Sada, you're good at that kind of stuff. We do trivia. We're good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sorted. No, I appreciate that. I'll see you all then. Yeah, it'll be the same kind of thing. You know, I'll chuck you a link and we'll do that. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much. And then we're going to do, because we do books, because we do prose, then I spoke with Laurie, because obviously she's the editor-in-chief, and just a bloody great editor. Her attention to detail is so much. Thank you very much. Wicked. So, yeah, I just wanted to do something that covered the prose side of things. So Laurie's going to do an Instagram live talking to an editor. The person who actually edited us, Sarah Butcher, she edited Points of Villainy and Virtue, and then talking to one of the writers. So we're going to do that, and then it's back over to YouTube because she's doing that on Instagram for the first announcement, which has everything to do with that logo right there.
Okay, so this con actually is multi-platform. It's going to be some stuff's going to happen on IG, some's on YouTube, it's going to bounce around. Okay.
Yeah, and they'll be like on Twitch as well. So we wanted to cover some bases and again just try and get out there and again have fun. And then you can see the next day again. I've put it as the recap because I've just quickly for those who missed day one, it's like hello again. But then also for anyone we missed or anyone who was worried that we missed them the day before, Cooks, yeah man, thank you very much, dude. Everyone, there'll be more kind of shout outs there. And then I think it's then back to Matteo to finish off the picture. Then comes the second announcement there, which is obviously Points of Villainy and Virtue, and that's the same logo there, so we've got an announcement with that. Then I kind of hand it over to Lance for a bit because obviously Lance is not only a great comic book writer. Hey, there's Laurie Cunningham. There she is. So because Lance is obviously a writer for comics and for film, he's going to talk about the differences and how it felt switching from one to the other. Again, I think it's worth a lot of creators, a lot of writers hearing that, because obviously some people might turn around and say I'm a screenwriter or I'm a comic book writer, and you can see how close those two worlds can actually be,
right?
And then obviously again back to Laurie on back to Laurie for Author's Corner, and then we're going to do a huge panel at the end for everyone with Al over at Comic Crusaders. Nice. Al's going to host that because it is a skill man, and then he's going to host that. So we're going to have people from NE1world and from Main Continuity just to close out the show, and then it's like on to year 3.
Wepa! Big shout out to Almega and Comic Crusaders. Yeah, that's the homie right there.
Yeah, he's a ledge. I love him. He's wicked. But yeah, so we got a busy couple of days there, to be fair.
Yeah, man, it sounds exciting. I can't wait. Yeah, yes. What a cool idea.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Definitely. So I was thinking you could run us through the website. So I want people to really understand and really get to know NE1world ASAP. And really know what's going on. So you guys go to NE1world.com, NE1world.com, and tell us what we're looking at. This is the world right here, right? This is
this is the second platform for the NE1world.
Right.
So the NE1world was created to publish for other people. So when I started, it was literally just like ASAP, and then I started having conversations with some people, and Lance was actually the first person I spoke to who wanted to kind of like, kind of said to me about publishing through us.
Right.
So what I did was I created the NE1world. We launched it with perspectives, as I say, for the Dyspraxia Foundation. And then Lance's book, Bob, Non-Union Psychic, Big Book of Bob, Volume 1, right. Was the first book or comic graphic novel that we had through. He then introduced me to Malcolm, who's a fantastic guy. There's Malcolm's book right there, Dog Eaters. Yep. So we did that, and it's amazing. Yeah, they're both books are. One of the things about those books is they're great stories, but they're so beautiful.
Yes,
like the artwork is so gorgeous.
Very well drawn and colored. Yeah.
Yeah, hugely. So then we put it out and we were like, hey, we're accepting submissions. Right. If you're interested, then give us a shout, reach out, let's have a conversation and kind of go from there. And then it just started to happen, and that was Bob and Dog Eaters were closely followed by Origins by Shane Tideman. So we published that one, and then it was followed by Birth of Golden Arm by Eddie, and then we recently did Meat Machine. There's Origins, there's Golden Arm, and then we did Meat Machine, which is our most recent one, which again, but those three are the guys' debut comics as well, which was just such an honor to be part of.
Man, that is cool. I'm digging through I got a bunch of you guys' books, man. I got a bunch of comics. I'm trying to find them, but I know, like, I wanted to just show the people. Oh, here's one. So here's a Dog Eaters. This is number 2.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's got the artwork's incredible.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so well written as well. Malcolm's such a talented writer. Yeah, look at that.
I mean, you can just crack it open at any point, and it's going to be beautiful.
That looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah. The coloring. I mean, the coloring is just.
It's still vibrant.
Really.
Yeah.
It's vibrant. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and just the style, the art style is really cool. And to be frank, I mean, to be totally frank, I'm not, word. Indie comics don't always have the best art. You guys seem to be breaking that stereotype with your stuff. It's very enjoyable, very good, very pleasing to the eye.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things I love about what we do is, like, because we've got people from all levels. Some people are brand new to this. Some people, obviously, like Lance and Malcolm, have been doing this for a good while. It's really great to connect those people as well, and also to put them out there. And it's so, I find it an honor that someone who's been doing it for a while, like Lance and like Malcolm, put their faith in what we're doing. Yeah. But then also on the flip side, that people are like, this is my debut, and they put in their faith in us to handle their debut book.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, it's really great, and again, it's such an honor. And I had the pleasure of seeing some of their reactions when it was in print. I mean, albeit like virtually, with the one person I was talking to him on a call, like, similar to this. And then as I was talking to him, I slowly just brought his comic into frame. And then he kind of went, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yeah." It was awesome. It was so great.
That is cool. That is great.
So that's what that platform is. And if you scroll to the bottom, sorry, you'll see some of the titles that will be coming out.
Good. Let's do that. All right. So scrolling down.
There you go.
More to come. Okay. Yeah. So you got The Long Game. Yeah. By D.W. Howard, coming out this year.
Yeah.
AIPS.
Yeah.
Apes. Right. That's coming out next year.
Yeah.
And you got Across the Astral Frontier by Christian next year as well, and Grave Vengeance by Mitch Larkins. So out of these 4, I know Christian's done stuff with you guys. Are the rest of these guys new?
No. So Paul and Mitch were also in Perspectives, and Dave Howard is Nem from Comic Crusaders.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our NE1world platform.
Right.
And then the main one is ASAPimagination.com. Our main continuity.
That's where I'm heading next. So here's that, and then you got the con right here. And some of the issue 1 Sister Grimm right here, guys. You can get this digital copy $2.99, print copy $4.99. Lily Connors wakes up in the morgue with no memories of the last 3 months since the event. She just wants to go home, but she's terrified her family isn't alive. But she's more terrified she'll kill them if they are. Very intriguing.
Yeah.
And Dead of Night, one of my favorites. Issue 1 is out now. What issue are these up to? These are just 1 so far?
So yeah, we've got whole issue 1 is coming out this month, and then issue 2 of OPSEC hits in September, and then we should start hitting the issue 2s, and then into next year we've got a lot planned as well.
Nice. And so, like Marvel and DC, all of this stuff is connected in a universe, right?
Yeah. So it all takes place in the UK, yeah.
Because I'm noticing, so you have the event.
Yes.
Now, in this one says Dead of Night. Centuries-old legacy destroyed by the event leaves the United Kingdom's most beloved hero a broken and violent vigilante. He will bring a medieval brand of justice to the criminals of modern-day London.
Yeah.
So this event has affected the whole universe, this whole inner universe. And do we know yet what the event is, or is this still a mystery?
Yeah, so the event, Points of Villainy and Points of Virtue, which was the book that we kind of launched with it, which we did in prose, which we, it's just a printed book that me and Laurie wrote, is the event.
Right.
It doesn't describe how it happened; it just describes that it happened. And then what?
Kind of like the Doom of Valyria.
Yeah. But it's just like what we did is we did the book in 2 halves. So it was Points of Villainy and then Points of Virtue. As a physical copy, it actually flips over, and there's the other part of the book. So it's like half of it's printed upside down, and we did it that way. And then it was 16 stories from the point of view of just the ordinary person. And the event literally happens like over one weekend. It's literally like a few days, but it decimates the UK. There's signs of it, early signs of it, but the big hit of it occurring is it just decimates London. All the heroes of old, we had kind of proper costumed heroes. They're either dead, gone into hiding, or missing. So it's like this new breed now kind of starts to happen.
Kind of reminds me of Heroes Reborn. With
yeah.
Okay, so, very cool. And then OPSEC is OPSEC is 4 people have disappeared near the town of Rhineshard, and now 2 OPSEC agents have gone missing as well. Agent Indra Jafari and Nigel Hammersmith are tasked with unearthing the mystery surrounding Rhineshard and the fate of their missing comrades. Very cool. And Messiah is an unwilling hero with an unwanted and flawed power. Daniel must come to accept his old life over and learn. His old life is over and learn the extent of his new abilities, all while on the run from the mysterious level 8. Now, is level 8 something that is connected, or is this only a Messiah?
No. It's all connected. It's literally you could take, like when you watch, like in DC, and you've got the Question, and he's got like these bits of string connecting everything. You can literally do that with everything we've got going on there.
Nice.
Which is what we wanted. Yeah,
very cool. And then Whole, minutes after the event destroys London, a group of injured and forgotten are quietly abducted for secret and diabolical purposes, all seen through the eyes of the main character.
Yes.
Now, is Whole, is this a she?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And then what I did was, when I was writing this one, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And the entire issue is seen through her eyes. So everything is first person, from the first panel to the last page.
Wow. Cool.
Everything is seen through her eyes. And then each of them take place just a slightly different time frame. So Whole is immediately after the event. Sister Grimm is 3 months later. Messiah is a year later. Dead of Night is round about the same time, and round about the same time again for OPSEC. So we wanted to do different times for it, and then eventually give people this kind of wicked timeline and say, you can read it in this order, or you can read it in the order that it came out in. It's up to you. It doesn't matter.
Right. Very cool. Now, in Whole, do we ever see the character?
That is for what I love to do, which is a last page reveal. So yes, you will, but on the very last page.
Like Wolverine or Hulk 180.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a page reveal. Like when I'm working on a comic and I'm trying to figure it out, if I know that that last page is going to be like something that I really want to get people going, I need issue 2 immediately.
Yes. Right.
I will always make sure that that page reveal is on the left page.
Nice.
Because you don't, if you turn and you're looking at it on the right, spoiled. You need to turn and go, yes, you know, that's the way I see it.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You don't want to have it on the right page. They're reading and they see. Yeah, very, very, very smart. Very clever.
Thanks,
and points of villainy, points of virtue out now. Is it necessary or just recommended to read this before getting into the comics?
I think it's not necessary. Like what we're aiming to do with each title is we're doing a 4-story arc with everything anyway. But everything will be 4 issues, and it will be a standalone story with. I always refer to it as, instead of putting a full stop on the end of the 4-issue arc, we put a comma on the end to say there's more coming.
Right.
There's more to this. So we hint at the others. We have Easter eggs in there for the others. You know, so you can totally just read Messiah, or you could just read Sister Grimm. But I also think that once you do, then you're going to want to start picking the rest up. I genuinely, you know, hope that's the case. But I think so.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it's going to make people want to go. I mean, that's what it does with me. Like whenever I'm reading or watching like a movie show and they talk about events or other stuff, it's like, man, I really want to see that. You know, I want to get into that stuff. You know, and so that's definitely, I think you'll definitely make people want to learn more and find the background. And it says 1 event, 2 anthologies, 16 people, 16 stories of terror. For weeks, there have been encounters, people experiencing things they can't explain, horrors coming out of the shadows, people's worst fears come to life. Prose book.
Yeah, cool. and then I say it's like I said, it's the build up, and then for like I say, for like 48 hours, boom, you know, the proverbial hits the fan, and then that's it. But what I loved about this was when we were writing this book, Sister Grimm, which is obviously Laurie's title, happened organically off the back of a story from that book. So when she wrote one story in particular, well, it's she wrote 2 stories, one for villainy, one for virtue, and it's a connecting kind of arc, and it was from the daughter's point of view, then from the mother's point of view.
Right.
And then when she wrote the second story, and we were looking at it and we were reading through it for the editing, and you know, the geek in me just kind of went, Polish. So I said to her, I said, like, I really think there's something here. I think this she's a main character. You know, she's not just a passing phase. And then we literally brainstormed, and then Sister Grimm just came off the back of it, and now she's writing a 4-issue arc, and she wasn't even into comics before this. So,
wow. And there it is. I mean, hey, this stuff is addicting, guys. Comics, you get hooked as soon as you. And so then this links to the NE1world site. Welcome to the NE1world, a creator-owned world where writers and artists can see their visions brought to life. This world exists separately to ASAP Comics UK's main continuity, so you maintain all the rights to your characters. As well as that, there is the responsibility that your characters can interact with others who reside in the NE1world, which can bring many unique storytelling experiences. That's right, man. And so it gives you something to even, you know, ideas to write about.
It's one of those things where it's like, where I just wanted to, you know, give people just a platform and that they could tell their stories on, but also where we can, you know, we can help them. So we get them on podcasts, we help them with their merch, we you know, we do it in print and in digital as well, because we handle all that in-house. So it's great because you can kind of, one of the things that is, I found it frustrating, but when we were starting and I'd say the link for our book is here, the link for our comic is here, the link for this is here, if you want to buy a hat, it's here. Whereas now what we do is we say it's here, it's all in one place.
All in one.
Thanks, Cooks. So if you but with a sword Yeah, and then if you, for example, if you on NE1world, if you scroll to like Bob's, if you have a look at Bob there, what we do is you see the link there on the blue tab. If you click on
available for purchase.
Yeah, if you click that, and there you go. There's the whole Bob catalog
and merch and everything. Cool.
Yeah. So we've got his paperback, his hardcover, his signed copies, his digital, t-shirts, and then hoodies and stuff like that. So
very cool. Stickers. I love it.
Yeah, it's wicked. But again, it's like we work with people to say, what is it that you do want, and we'll do that with everyone when they kind of come on.
Man, that's great, guys. So like, if you guys are, if anybody watching this is a up and coming artist or writer, or you want to get into writing comics, or see where it goes, guys, submissions are open, and it's cool. You click the submissions link, and here it is. NE1world, as part of ASAPimagination, is an indie publisher offering indie authors a collaborative relationship to help get your stories to the world. We assist with sales, publication, distribution, and promotion, including connecting you with bloggers, podcasters, and reviewers like us. We can also offer additional services such as graphic design and editing. Man, this is incredible. ASAPimagination mainly represents fantasy, science fiction, superhero, and horror, and included subgenres through the NE1world. The NE1world is a creator-owned world where creators will maintain their rights to stories and characters. Talk about that. And then there are also children's books that you can submit. So why was it important to you to make it something where they can retain their rights to their stories and characters?
Because I think being a creator and being someone who's worked on all of this stuff, I think it's awfully painful to sell it and give it. Thank you, man. To sell it and give it away. It's yours, and you should maintain your rights to it. It's if you've created an entire world, who am I to take that from you?
Right.
So for me, it was like, we'll help you get it sorted. We'll help you do whatever we can help you with. But thank you, man. Thanks, Lance. But it's like the rights are yours. So at any given point, it's like, if for whatever reason, and obviously we don't want it, but if for whatever reason it's not working out for either party, you walk away, rights intact. They're yours. They're not mine. I don't own them. And I think
you guys like to be the catalyst. So you guys are just basically in a position to be the catalyst to help people get their ideas out there.
And it's fun to work with them.
Yeah, because I watched the interview on Comic Crusaders the other day, and there was a guy, I forget his name, and he had a nice comic. He had a dope indie comic, and he was saying that when he got started, he looked high and low to, for writers, artists, everything that you offered is in one spot. And he went to like 3 different, he had to go to like 3, 4 different, but he went, he got it all done, but he was just saying that it took a while and it was a lot of work because he had to find people to do the things he needed done, where he could have just came right here and got it done in one shot.
Yeah. And again, it's like, when because people, like the guy who wrote Meat Machine, for example, he's a 20-year-old kid, and it's like people, for him, I understand it. It's a scary world of where do I go, how do I get there, and then also, that's when, and I'm not saying people do it, but that's when you can sign an incorrect contract, or that's when you can get talk, all glitz and glamour, and you go sign, done, and then you go, it's like the mega small print. But with us, like I say, it's we do everything we can to help, and then again, for whatever reason, if it's not working out, the rights go straight back to you. It's fine, no problem.
That's brilliant. And I love here, your submissions should consist of the following. So they even give you, an outline of what to do in case you might not even know. So you got introduction. You got the title, category of your work, i.e. fiction, comic, word count, genre, target audience, and content warnings. Brief overview or a blurb, and this is where you hook us, right? This is where you're going to write your taglines. This should read similar to what is found on the back cover of a book, a published book. And then, of course, synopsis. We want to know what happens and how it ends. Give us your spoilers. Creator's bio. Tell us about yourself and your background. Sample material. If your book is unillustrated, please include the first 10 pages of text only. If your work is illustrated, please include the full manuscript and a link to your portfolio or sample art within the body of your email. I mean, yeah, man. Guidelines. You got do not send attachments aside from the submissions form. I mean, it's all right here. And for all this service you're giving, and then to turn around and say everything's yours, if you leave, take it. That's big. I mean, no one's gonna do that. And because you guys, like you said, you know, you're providing sales, publication, distribution, promotion, you know, connecting with platforms like ours and things like that, and additional services. You're even offering graphic design services and editing. And it says you assist with these things. Do you? How much do you assist with these things?
It depends how far people are on with things or along with things. So, like, you know, again, like Lance came to me with it was complete. There was you know, nothing that needed doing other than, you know, he was, you know, specific in, I would like to see my story in a hardcover. So what we did is we formatted, and I worked with the printer, and it was, you know, again, it was a really proud day because I'd formatted it, and, you know, it turned up, and there was the hardcover, and that was what Lance was after. Whereas with, again, for the guy who was doing Meat Machine, when he did his cover, we had a conversation with him, and we were like, we've got a couple of just, you know, suggestions that you take them or leave them, but, you know, here's a couple of suggestions we think would make your cover pop a bit more. And he was like, oh yeah, you know,
Omega, salute.
Wicked guy, man.
Salute,
but yeah, and then, you know, so when we were able to help him with his cover, and we helped him with some of the things within the story. Again, we just, you know, we offered some advice and had some conversations with him. But it was, again, it's like, it's such an honor to be part of it, and it sounds really stupid. Sometimes I get more excited when I'm able to show them their books than when one turns up with my name on it. It's great. Sure. Like, I love being published. It's brilliant. But when I get to go, here it is, here's your book. I'm big soppy sod. I get all emotional. I'm like, look, you know. But yeah, you know, it's some great stories, great books there.
Very, very good, very nice stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, wow, there's Long Game coming soon. Man, that's brilliant. So I keep going back to this, man, because, you know, as, you know, hip hop aficionados as we are, Stu, I see, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. You got Golden Arms is a member of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
That's so I love the was there any inspiration from that? Is it linked in any way? Or do you know?
I don't know, but what I can do is I can get Eddie on the show with you guys.
Sure.
And you can ask him yourself, by all means. I'll get him on.
Love that. Please. Y'all need love that.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Big Wu-Tang fans.
Brilliant.
We're big Wu-Tang fans, and we would like to know. Plus, we would like to interview him just to know more about his Golden Arms project.
Yeah, no, he's wicked. Yeah, but again, like I say, it was his debut comic, so it was just such a great thing to be part of that.
I bet. Yeah, man. In this epic science fiction tale, follow the legacy of a hero as he becomes who he was destined to be. After war and tumult have plagued species across planets over a generation, one warrior will leave it all behind to find a family and a normal life. But a dark past never stays in the shadows for long. Now, past conflicts will begin anew and leave a young boy to find his own path and fulfill a family legacy in the unforgiving reaches of space. Experience the first installment of the Eddie Ubito's debut comic series, The Birth of Golden Arm, In this epic science fiction tale, follow the legacy of a hero as he becomes who he's destined to be. Man.
I love it.
Love it.
You need to get some work doing some trailers, my friend. I'm telling you, you're getting that down.
Yes, do the voiceover.
Yeah, but it sounds like a trailer. I mean, it reads like
no, it's class, mate. I love it.
Yeah, that's great, man. And then you got Origins, Dash. Now, why do I know Dash? What's Dash from? I know him.
Dash Windar.
No, from something else you guys did. Or he's just from
Dash was always Shane's.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. It could be you might have seen the cover. I put it out a couple of times.
Right. No, maybe it's just from this, but yeah, follow the origin of Dash. A superhero decides to become a police officer. That's interesting. Usually you have a police officer or something becomes a superhero. This superhero who wants to become a police officer. Yeah. And Dash's more jaded older brother and first lady who steps into Dash's shoes when he quits the superhero scene. And Frog Boy. Yes, Frog Boy.
Frog Boy.
Awesome. All right, what are we saying over here? What's Hades in the building?
Yes.
ASAP's where it at.
Thank
I
you.
wish I had a comic idea. I would use this site.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so like you said, Lance had his whole thing was just pretty much done, and he brought it to you and just wanted, hardcover. Let's say it's just in here. It's just in my head. I've got my ideas, but I haven't done anything yet. Can I come to you, or I've got to build a book first?
Yeah, I think you gotta have at least, like as we've put on the submissions there, is like a basic plot synopsis of where you want to go with it. And it's like with some people, they've come to us and said, I want it to be a novel. And all of a sudden, once you start to explore it and look at it, you go, you can make this into a comic,
Yeah.
And then I've had people who have gone, oh shit, I want to make a comic then,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like most people come with, especially with indies, we get a lot of people who are doing their own art as well as their own writing. So which is ace, but then we'll have some people who will come to us, and we can get them in touch with an artist. We can do that kind of thing with them.
Right. Yeah, that's
it just depends where you're at. Excuse me.
You don't have to have a comic book printed or made or any of that. Just the outline, the ideas, maybe some photos, but maybe the storyline. But guys, that's all you need, and you can have your comic book made. Now, what can they expect as far as cost, fees, services? What do they buy? Anything? Do they pay anything? How does this work?
So if they come to us and it's a complete book or a complete comic, no, you don't pay anything at all. Because why would you? You've got it ready. We'll get it published. We'll get it in print. I'll usually foot the upfront costs of getting it into print. And so on and so forth. But the only times that there are any kind of things like costs involved would be costs that you'd incur anyway.
Right.
So if you come and you've got an unedited book, whether it's through us or whether it's you have to do it yourself, you need an editor. Either way. So what we would do is we would speak to we have some editors that we work with. We would speak to the editors and say it's this size book at this many pages or this kind of word count, and they would say it would cost I'll edit it for this much. Right. Thanks, man. But yeah, it's the reason that again for an editor that you'd be charged is because you'd be charged anyway. And what I wouldn't do is if I paid for the editor and then you decided it wasn't working and then you walk away with your rights and I go, oh I've just paid for an editor. I've just edited someone's book for them.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So it's a fine line between I want to help and I want to do what I can, but then it's what I can do.
Right.
So it's if people want to do a comic, again, we we have artists that we work with, and we would put them in touch with, and we work it that way. But no one's ever, they don't have to pay to be in it. It's
right.
These are the, it's not Vanity Press. It's not like that. It's not
right.
If you pay us, we'll publish your book. No,
right.
It's not.
There's
that
some
at all.
things that if you want to do, you could pay for, and we can help connect you with the people that do it and things like that. Like it's a one-stop shop. Everything you're gonna need, you can get it from us, through us, with us. It's brilliant, man.
Thank you so much.
I'm surprised that this isn't done more often. I mean, this is great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So, and that's it for me. I mean, we've gone almost an hour talking. That's a decent interview right there. Now, Stu or Sada, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask him that we haven't gotten into? Or about
I don't think so. This is like my first time learning of everything, so I'm kind of just taking it all in and taking the site in. It looks really great. I love the covers and the stories, so I definitely want to like invest in that and everything. It just looks awesome. So I don't really have any questions, just compliments because it looks great.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah,
it does. It's a great, it's a great idea. Like I said, it's a great idea, and I just watched the guy the other day. Said exactly what you do. He said he wish. He had, because he said he would have came out with the comic like a year earlier or 2 years earlier, but he just said he was looking here and there. He had to get a publisher, he had to get an editor, artist. He said the hardest thing he had to find was an artist. He said that was the hardest thing for him to find. And he said, but once he found one, then he got the book drawn, and the book was beautifully drawn. And he got it, published and all, and he got it put out. But listen, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. And we're gonna spread the word here on 6. When somebody comes through and they looking for services, we're gonna spread the word.
Yeah,
and everybody else in the chat do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do the same thing.
Yeah. We come across people all the time that are making a book or want to make a book. I have people hit me up all the time. Yo, do you know any artists? To do my comic? I think that's probably the biggest hurdle a lot of people making a comic have is the art. You're an artist yourself and you're doing it yourself. Well, what do you do? And you've got to find someone who's an artist. They've got to be willing to take all this time to do this whole big project with you, and you got to pay them something, and usually they're not cheap, especially professionals. But I mean, so that's the biggest hurdle.
For sure, and one of the things that like I feel blessed with on my team for the people doing like main continuity is, I made every contract with the artists and the writers is for the 4 issues.
Yeah,
because I had similar problems at the beginning. I had it where I in my head I'd got like a timeline mapped out, but I was at the behest of, can the artist do it in that time? And then I wanted to move on to a second issue of something, and they were like, I can't do it. I'm booked, or I'm done, or So then but that's what you want, is you want consistency, or you want to do it that way. So I was like, we need to make sure that we have great artists, but people who want to stick around. And I've been very lucky with that. Very lucky, and the artists are great. And huge shout out to my whole team. I love those guys. They are family.
They're great. They're great guys. We've interviewed lots of them, so they're great. It's a great team.
It is.
And again, for the NE1 con, it's part of the thing. That I want to do is I want to celebrate them. Yes, I started this, but without them, it would still 99% of it still being here.
Sure.
It wouldn't be. I wouldn't be having the conversations. I wouldn't be able to hold the books. I wouldn't be able to do so much. It's, absolutely hugely lucky to have what I've got.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So, all right. So, can you in the private chat give me exactly the link to where they're going to go for the con? So I can put it on the screen.
I'll tell you what I can do, mate, is I've got a whole bunch of things I'll send you that I will see if I can do it.
Yeah, because I want to put it on the screen for people that are watching to be able to know how to get there and when and all that stuff.
No worries, man. I will get you that right now.
So that would be what, this Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Starting at 7.
Yeah.
7. Yeah. So don't forget those times are GMT. So 7 is 2 o'clock for you guys, I think. Eastern. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Very important. Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm an insomniac, so I don't really, it's like it's 12:30 or half midnight here.
Right.
It's usually okay. I'm usually.
I'm
that's why I've got this pale complexion, mate. I'm just. I look.
Vampires, man.
A vampire with a beard. Yeah. Let me just.
Tell me about it.
I can. What I'll do, Reno, is if I can send this to your Instagram, because I've got it on here but not on here.
Okay.
That work. Sorry, mate.
That'll work. Oh, that's fine. I'll go to Instagram on here on my PC. What is this?
Yeah, I've sent it there. It's just...
All right. Let me oh Lord. What the hell, man?
Yeah, it's sod's law. Whenever I want something, I always end up forgetting the one thing.
No, I got it. I'm logged into Instagram here, but it won't let me switch profiles for some reason. Very annoying, but I'll do it. I'll get it on my phone.
Your profile got hacked. So I don't know.
No, I got it.
It's like I say, we're going to do all these different shows, and we've got some announcements, and we're going to be working with some new people, and like I say, I'm looking forward to it. When this is, because this is my whole job now. It's like you can't complain when this is your job. You can't complain when this is
not at all. You're doing what you want to do, right? And that's the goal. I think that's everybody's goal in life. They want to do what they want to do, but you got to put in the work. And it seems like you guys have done just that. You put the work in.
Love, you never work.
Covered all the bases. Love it.
Yeah, well, this is it. And the thing is, I used to be a suit and tie man going to work, and God, I hated it. It wasn't me, and I was one of those annoying consultant twats. It really wasn't me. It's like I'm much happier tattooed, and this is me comfortable. And I lost my job like pre-pandemic, just literally just before. There you go, thank you. Just before that hit, I lost the job. One of the greatest things to ever happen. If you want to go to just the ASAP YouTube channel as well, then everything's on there.
Right.
But yeah, like one of the greatest things in the world was for me to lose that job.
I heard a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that they lose jobs, man. They always, and I've seen people lose jobs, and they get something better. Like it's something, like it's like a lot of times it's like it's destiny, like it's fate for it to happen, so you can grow and move on to something bigger and better. Yeah, I've seen it happen to a lot of people that I know personally.
Sometimes I think it takes that like fate kicking you up the backside for you to go. I would have carried on. I would have just carried on. I would have just carried on. Hoped and dreamed and wished, but now it's like now I can actually give it a go and give it a shot. Like,
right, and that's great, man. And we're glad that it happened like that for you, because
Thank you very much.
The platform, you guys got a wonderful platform, man. I would have never thought to put something together like that, and just have everything at once. Because we have it for everything else, but I would have never thought. And then, like I said last week, looking at a guy who was literally he needed, like if he would have had your service, he would have been great. And he said the hardest thing to find was an artist. He said, I couldn't find an artist to save my life, and then I finally found one. And he would have been good. And there's a lot of guys out there that have ideas and have things floating around in their head that they want to get out, and ASAP Imagination can help them get it done. I mean,
yeah,
it's
no,
incredible.
thank you. No, thank you so much. And again, it's just like when we did the digital platform ourselves. I mean, I remember me and Laurie were working for hours because we switched it over. Because originally we were doing it through like Kindle and KDP, and then I sat there and went, I think we can do this. Actually, I think we can do it ourselves. And what we had on there, I think it was 8 to 12 hours. And then we were switching stuff over, and then so she's in Canada, and so she's like 7 hours behind me, I think. And then she sent me a message saying, "That's it, I'm tagging out, I'm going to bed." And I genuinely was sat here and I looked up and went, "Shit, it's light." And I was like, and I'd been, we'd been up, for me throughout the night, but it got done, and now we have the ability to do digital ourselves and the print. So it was just like, this is great.
So you guys are burning the midnight petroleum.
every night for me, man. Every night. But you know what? It's fine. I don't mind. I get to work on it, and also I get to figure out time differences and hours between people. So it's fine. No worries.
Mm-hmm. So guys, yeah, that's the YouTube channel. ASAP Imagination is the channel, and there's the goofy link. You guys unfortunately can't copy and paste off the screen, but it is JV lowercase n3 underscore uppercase P. That part right there. Just write that down.
Screenshot it.
And, screenshot it.
Yeah,
right.
That's my fault for not being ready, guys. Sorry.
No, my fault. Actually, my fault. Like I said, I was scrambling today trying to get.
Don't worry.
But
I didn't even think of that.
I know. This is the actual con link.
Yeah. So this is the day one con link. Yeah. So, right. But if they just go to YouTube and look for ASAP Imagination, everything's there. We have all our past interviews, including past interviews with you, you guys. We've got those in a playlist, which is just ASAP interviews, and it's got everything from our first ever interview 2 years ago with Al, to present day. Nice. So this will be put in there. And then we have what is also known as our 5 in 5s. So they're like our creator bios. So it's 5 questions in 5 minutes that we do ourselves. Right. And it's the basics. So who are you? What book have you got out? And where can people find you? What's your book about? That kind of thing. And it's literally a live bio. Instead of trying to read one, we just talk to you instead. And then we've got book trailers and all manner of stuff on there. So lots.
Yeah, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanna cover?
No. I was going to say the only other thing that we have is ASAP Minis. Again, we do that where if people have kids' books and stuff, they can submit to that, and that's just asapminis.com. And then the submissions is at the top, and then you can see the kids' books that we've got out and coming out.
Right. So you got NE1world.com, ASAPimagination.com, and ASAPminis.com.
Yes.
Okay. So ASAPminis.com if you want to upload, if you got some children's books or children's comics in mind. And guys, that's where the money's at. So
I'm telling you.
yeah, that's where the money's at. But all right, cool, man. So this was a brilliant interview. I'm hoping you'll hang out for the rest of the show and chop it up with us.
Yeah, sure, man.
So we got a lot of time. I mean, we're gonna cover She-Hulk. We're gonna talk about. So we all got to see She-Hulk, right?
Not me. I was working. I'm just gonna nod occasionally on this bit. Now.
I thought you said you did see it.
No, that was the one thing I haven't seen anything, mate. I'm so far behind.
Yeah. No worries, man. But
he did say he was far behind. He did say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we kind of covered She-Hulk though. We all liked it. It was pretty good.
I didn't enjoy the first episode.
You did not enjoy the first. That's right. We didn't ask you. That's right. You just.
I did not enjoy the first.
This is This is the review we waiting for.
Oh no!
This is the review that matters.
Yes.
This is the review that matters. This is the one that matters.
Yes.
So yeah, I watched it this morning. And it wasn't the worst thing ever. I don't hate it, but I didn't really like it. I wasn't a fan of the pace for She-Hulk's origin. Sorry. I wasn't a fan of the pace. I felt like the fact that it all happened within the first episode, and she's just great at transforming, and she's used to everything. It just was too fast for me.
Yeah.
And I thought with the 9 episodes, that's what that time was going to be spent doing. Like, not necessarily her origin, like her having the blood transfusion or whatever, but her coming into
developing.
Her She-Hulk. Yeah, I just thought that's what we were going to do, and we didn't. You're funny, Slade. And I did like She-Hulk and Banner's banter. They did feel like cousins. It's a shame she wasn't hinted at prior, but they do feel like cousins. I really like that. I think she has great comedic timing. It's just the jokes didn't really hit that much for me. Some of the dialogue, some of the lines were kind of cringe. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it was. I think that was really for the casual viewers. Yeah, some of the dialogue was a little cringe for me. Like when Jen was talking about how she controls her anger more so than Hulk because of situations where she's catcalled or things are being mansplained. That was kind of cringe.
Well, kind of like the baseline for women is anger.
Yeah, that was cringe, but I mean, I could get over that. I think that conversation she had with Bruce regarding how she controls her anger more than him and why she does was just really off-putting because it felt like she was discounting his trauma and everything he went through, which I guess is on trend for the MCU because we've barely explored the Hulk and his trauma, but it just kind of sucked in that regard. So yeah, there was just stuff like that. I didn't like the ending with what's her name came in for like a quick second. It was just so weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
But yeah, it wasn't the worst thing. It was okay. It was just severely okay.
When Jamila came in?
Yeah.
When they were in the courtroom when Jamila came in?
Titania, why don't you saying Tatiana? Titania.
Jamila, or whatever her name is, but Tatiana.
Yeah, she came in, she did like that really
that's one of She-Hulk's arch nemesis.
Oh yeah, and that's awesome.
And a reoccurring one.
Oh yeah, I think the way she came in though, and then she was just immediately knocked out, and then the episode kind of ends. I was like,
I felt she should have gotten a bigger entrance.
Yeah, like I thought that they were going to, like when she did that like comic book kick and it was like slow mo. I thought they would just end it there and like
well that was silly.
It was really silly. Like I was like, what?
I think.
It was weird.
I think so, but I think like the silliness and the fact that she has total control of her powers immediately and all of that kind of lends it to it being more of a satire show, like more of a funny, jokey kind of character, comic-y, cartoony, breaking the fourth wall. I mean, she's talking to us half the time, so it's very. I think that's kind of why they went that way with it. The flying kick was obviously comedic. It didn't even try to look cool. So I think that, I mean, and then I know a lot of people were kind of discouraged, like with Hulk, getting pushed around by that Jeep. A lot of people had a big problem with that Jeep scene because they compare it to the first movie, when we had the Hulk in the Avengers and he stood there and he punched the Chitauri, that giant beast that was, the big floating giant serpent Chitauri thing. And he just punched it, stopped it dead in its tracks, didn't even budge. And the whole thing just, but a Jeep is too much for him.
Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous.
Kind of pushed him around, tossed him into I was expecting that Jeep to just stop when it hit him. I thought he was just going to put his hand out and stop the Jeep.
Right.
The Jeep hits him, carries him around, tosses him. But in his defense, and in their defense,
the Jeep made of vibranium? Like, what is going on? Like, why?
For one, it was his Jeep, so it might be a little more powerful and able to carry his weight, maybe modified. But for 2, his feet weren't planted in the ground. He was kind of already off the ground when the Jeep picked him up. It just kind of drove him around. It didn't, his feet weren't planted on the ground and then it pushed him. He kind of hopped up on it and drove around. So it wasn't quite what people were making out to be. And I mean, I don't have a problem with Smart Hulk. I definitely don't have a problem with him doing yoga, because I thought it was the coolest thing how at the end of the Edward Norton Hulk movie, he's meditating. Right? Yeah. And he realizes this is how I'm going to control myself, control my powers.
Yeah, there's the green eyes at the end, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I like that. I don't mind that Smart Hulk is here. I hate that we missed out on, that progress to get to Smart Hulk. We missed out on all of that. And they hint at it, and that's the worst thing. They hint at it throughout the episode. He talks about his time spent with Tony on the island.
Yeah.
And, that time spent during the blip, he was here on the island. And it's like, we didn't ever get to see that.
Thank Paramount for that.
Yeah. And I feel like even then, I felt like they could have included that in Endgame. I felt like, if they wanted to.
They could have. Probably a little after.
That She-Hulk versus Hulk fight was a bit comical. I don't know. I think I was taken out not because of the actual fight itself, but because the colors were very diluted to me. It wasn't as vibrant as like that comic book cover we just saw. It wasn't like that. It felt very muted. All the greens and everything, which is really strange because usually She-Hulk, she's like bright green. Well, not like bright green, but she has more of a pop. And I didn't see that.
Well,
but,
you guys got to understand. They can only make it to so green or to wash out, and it won't look right. So they got to kind of find a balance between the background.
Oh, there's trees, palm trees.
Right. And then you got all the different colors. Like a perfect example of that is if all the Star Wars fans out there, and all real Star Wars fans notice, when you see the poster for Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber is blue. It was supposed to be blue in the movie. But they said when they went back and they looked at it, they had to change it to green because it got washed out. And
you mean Empire poster? Empire Strikes Back poster?
No, Return the Jedi. Return the Jedi poster.
And he don't have a lightsaber.
Receipts.
You see it right there, right?
Yeah.
There.
There's one there's one where the promo. That must be a new one, but there's one in the original ones. They showed it was like I work for a movie theater and they had like teaser.
I know what you're getting at though. I get what
right. And the teaser poster, he had a blue lightsaber. And they said that in the original movie, when they filmed Return of the Jedi, it was blue. They filmed the whole thing, it was blue. But they said they had to change it because when they watched it, it washed out the whole. It was just washed out, it was lost. Like so they changed the green. They changed the green so that you could see it better. And that was the first time anybody had ever seen a green lightsaber, was when Luke had one.
So I've got a great here's your good example of that right here. Nice. This is it with the blue with the green.
With the green. Now the only people that got the blue in your right was the Japanese. When they put the poster out in Japan, they changed it to green. They had it green from the get-go or whatever, I guess, because they saw the movie. But their posters had green ones on it. But in the later posters, it's green. And the first time we ever seen a green lightsaber was in Return of the Jedi. So that's when we saw the green one. And it just washed out. So I get it. See, that's the original poster right there. Return of the Jedi. He has a blue lightsaber. But in the movie, it was green. And we were like, wait a minute. If you're a nerd, right? If you're a nerd, you're like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be blue. Why is it green? It was green because they had to change it at the last minute because it got washed out. In the barge scene where he was fighting on the barge with fighting, they were saving Han Solo. They said that George Lucas said they couldn't see it. He said that they watched it like 1,000 times and they tried to find ways to make it, pop
the
more.
Sky and the outside,
right?
Just didn't work.
They said the only thing that did was green. Yep. They said green was the only thing that made it pop. Yep.
Well, see, Star Wars nerds know that lightsaber colors have meanings. There's a reason why their lightsabers are certain colors. The reason why the Siths have red ones. The reason why the blue guys have a blue one and the green ones have. There's yellow ones. Mace Windu's got the purple one. There's white. And I mean, there's the black one. But it's interesting. It's funny to kind of learn how the reason that they changed the lightsabers' colors were for shit like that. And then later it was like, oh well, this is what this one means, and like they sort of
right. They put a meaning behind it. Right. They bounce it back. Right. But that's why Hawks look. That's why they look like that, because you can't make them too green, because it's gonna wash out or it won't look right. It'll look fake. And like we might watch this 10 years later and be like, yo, like look how great. Like it don't even look right. So they kind of make it so that it'll last. Like if you watch Hulk from 2008, it still looks good. Like it still looks great. Like he's not too green, he's not too dull, he's the right color. And then when you watch him in Avengers, he's just the right color.
Yeah, I like Hulk's color throughout his time. Yeah. I like his green. I think it raises a bigger question for me. It's like, well, why didn't they just paint her green like Gamora? Because they weren't going to make her. So I feel like the actress could have bulked up. Could have painted her green.
Yeah, but she's got to be so much bigger.
She got to be so much bigger. She got set. Yeah, she's like 6'9".
That's true.
Remember,
you got to use it.
Lou
Ferrigno, he got that off. He got that off.
But listen though, but my point is that he's a man, and he's a human man with regular human-sized dimensions, even though he was a bodybuilder, and it worked for us as little kids on TV. But we know that the Hulk is much bigger than Lou Ferrigno could ever be. And so that's why they had to go. But she did say, and it's interesting, she actually said, she said, there has been a critique that her body's not muscular. And to me, I kind of find that to be an interesting conversation to have too. There is an opportunity here for a very muscular woman, which is something that we don't often see on screen. And I feel people in that desire. I feel that. So much of her is about the perception from the outside, and so much of her is about the way people look at her differently depending on which body she's presenting at that time. Jen Walters is received very differently than She-Hulk is, and that outward response and feedback tells her something about herself. Basically noting that, it's an interesting, thing, and so many people, having a chance to see a very muscular woman on screen in the way it hasn't been seen very often. And, she explains, that in the story itself, Jen Walters is so focused on the perception from the outside that she's, both in her bodies. She's in both of her bodies, like always working to make sure that she's perceived in the right way, no matter what she's showing at the time. But yeah, I don't know. She looked pretty buff.
It's the same argument as they had with like when Wonder Woman came out. It's like they were saying she wasn't Amazonian enough and stuff like that. And it's like this is what's achievable. When you're working with a human person, and even if you're doing like CGI, and you've got Mark Ruffalo who's like 5'8", and then all of a sudden he's 6'10",
right?
But she still has to be smaller than him, because that's the difference in the comics. Because it was a blood transfusion, hers was almost watered down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what I like as well is talking about the skin tone and the color, because that takes it all the way back to the beginning as well. So when Stanley was first doing the Hulk, he wanted him to be grey, and they couldn't find a variant of the grey that worked, and that's why we've now got green. So it's funny that like all these years later, we're talking about the green.
So
we're going all the way back to day one.
So we can call that the Return of the Jedi / Hulk syndrome, where you have to change the color because it just don't.
Yeah.
But you got to remember too, Banner's not muscular at all.
Right.
He's scrawny.
Right.
He's little. He's scrawny. He's puny. And Hulk says it all the time. He says puny Banner, scrawny Banner. So Jen Walters isn't muscular. She can't be muscular because it just won't work. She's not. Right, she grows into this muscular, Hulk size
but
woman.
A lot of the complaints that they got, that the criticisms that they're getting, is that She-Hulk's superhero form, the big green heart, isn't muscular enough.
That's what I think personally. I feel like she needs a little more muscle as She-Hulk. As Jen, she's fine.
But I mean, Well, if you look at She-Hulk in the comics, she wasn't muscular. She looked like a regular slim, woman, just was big.
I think I'm thinking of like
the dimensions were just pulled out a bit, weren't they?
Yeah,
The same figure.
I mean, for the TV show, it's acceptable. But if they did a movie, I would expect it to be more detailed because the budget's only but so big, so you can only do so much. So, that
I wonder how big the budget was for the show.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the pictures, some of the art, and yeah, some artists draw her bulging and veiny and all that. Some artists definitely have done that. Some artists make her look more slim. Looking at like the very first cover, when she first came out, and she's, when she first came out, well, here, I'll show you guys. It's very much. Yeah, she's very not muscular. So I get like newer iterations of her are bulging and veiny, but originally she was this.
See, so how's that different than what it's supposed to be? Yeah, so
no, that's
I think I'm thinking of the later iterations, not where she's like extremely like oof, but I just wanted a little more muscle. I wanted a little more.
I feel you.
I'm quite sure we all did, but muscle costs money, just like in real life. So you got those more money at that budget.
I did have one question. Something you said that when they were the fight between them was comical.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that like the MCU is going a little bit too comical with stuff? Because it's like since I saw the first Thor,
Haydes,
I still haven't seen the latest
that question.
Yeah,
well, you already know that question because we talk about it all the time on this channel. How Guardians of the Galaxy literally made Marvel more comical because it worked for them, and so now
because Guardians was so successful,
right?
They just copied
so it's just cookie cuttered it, right?
They're definitely a little too comical because
at
this point it's to the detriment of characters, and then if not that, you're making characters already snarky and witty and having one-liners. Like it's all of them. There's no differentiation between any character. Like there's no dry way. It's all the same. It's all delivered the same. So I feel like they're definitely too comical now because it's just taking it to another level.
We say that a lot. Yeah.
No, go on. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Because Captain America, when you watch Captain America, it had more of a serious tone. When you watch Iron Man, even though Tony talks the way he does, it was just more of a serious tone than Guardians of the Galaxy was. I mean, once we got Guardians, if you watch any movie after Guardians, especially Thor, they literally cookie cutted it straight to Thor after that. And Thor movies have been like that ever since.
To me, it's like if comedy works like within the network of what it's supposed to be. Like for example, like you say, like snarky, like Tony Stark for his one-liners, calling Thor Point Break, saying that Rocket, I swear to God, I thought that was Build-A-Bear, just genius one-liners, but they're like brilliant. And then there's forced comedy. This is funny. Yeah. There's a significant difference between the two.
Yes. Like Thor: Love and Thunder was very forced. Joke after terrible, bad joke after bad joke. Forced, obvious, stupid. Guardians of the Galaxy was perfect. Like you said, the lines were spot on. The timing was great. The jokes made sense. And this is this wacky world, and things are goofy and weird, and space and aliens, and so it fit and it made sense. But it doesn't fit in every one. Like Captain America, no, stop with the comedy. Like
the jokes in Captain America, like it just has a different feel and it hits when they do jokes. It's just like a different type of delivery, and it works. And now it's like everything is delivered the same, so you're kind of just like okay. Got it.
Well, that's it. It's like you mentioned the Edward Norton Hulk earlier, and it's like that was a massively like sad film in places.
Yeah.
The amount of his life that he gave up, and the amount that he had to walk away from, and now it's just gone. It's like it's just that didn't happen, and it's like the point of the character
but the Hulk is like that. Though. The Hulk is like, and remember the original TV show, the theme song is called "Lonely Man." Like, I mean, because it's just the Hulk is like it's like a Greek tragedy, and people forget that. They forget that that's how it's written like that. She-Hulk was more like a mix between Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, because she kept talking about and Deadpool. It basically, with great power comes great responsibility, without saying it, but that's what they were saying, and that's what she kept iterating and kept pointing to. But to me, it played out more like the comics read, but just on teetering a little more on the comedic side. Because she broke the fourth wall, which she does all the time in the comics, and she does little wacky things with it. She's actually the first character to do that, and she did it before Deadpool. She did it years before Deadpool did it.
Yeah,
it's just Deadpool's just more famous for it, but she's always broken the fourth wall. She's always used it to transverse the terrain, rip pages back, curse out the artists and the writers if she don't like. It's just they just do little wacky things with it. Because She-Hulk comics aren't really that serious. They do have a slight comedic side to them.
She-Hulk was not ever a serious.
It's not like the Hulk. The Hulk is like it's tragic, man. Like David is fighting the Hulk. They're fighting each other inside their minds. Right now, the Hulk is a spaceship, and Bruce Banner is piloting the spaceship. So you got Spaceship Hulk right now. So it's it's just.
I think in that they kind of failed the Hulk, because it's like it's just not. It's not that it's his story is not tragic. Like, nothing about him is tragic anymore. I don't even know if it ever was after maybe Avengers, even
after Ed Norton,
because when he was having issues with the Hulk in Ragnarok, and then it led to Infinity War, that was really treated like a joke. It wasn't anything serious when it really should have been, because that's such a critical aspect of his character. So it's just like great.
Yeah.
But the She-Hulk, being comical, I'm not surprised by that. And that was okay. It's just the jokes didn't land for me.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. Would you? I don't like the one on the big bulky muscular.
No. I expected the one on the right. That green. Yeah, that's the one I expected.
Well, you also have to remember, the madder she gets, the more muscular she gets, because she gets stronger. So it's kind of like it happens instantaneously. Like Hulk gets madder, gets stronger, gets bigger, he bulks up.
I would like to see Norrin Rad bringing that. That's a good point, because she did join the Fantastic Four at one point.
Yeah, she did. She was a member.
This show could be another avenue, or another link to Fantastic Four in some way, or they'll probably just do like an Easter egg. But speaking of linking, we got Daredevil coming, and finally gonna get to see the yellow suit. It's not quite the yellow suit from the comics, but definitely a lot of yellow in there. Pretty cool looking. I'm digging it.
Remember they did hit Reno at a World War Hulk movie. Because remember what Hulk
down
said
the road.
when he saw a ship, he said, "Look," he said, "That's a whatever Sicarvian ship." He was like, "I got to check in on that sooner or later." Which means that he might go. He said, "I got to go back there and check in on that."
Well, a lot of people think that this smart sort of nerfed Hulk is a precursor, or like something just to tone him way down, so that they're gonna ramp him up and make him a super badass monster. World War Hulk becoming. So I think that this is like to set the tone, so that it's more jarring when he becomes. The beast.
Because they did say that. I did read an article. They said that. Yeah, I read an article the other day. They said Universal did approve a movie for Hulk. So we do have a Hulk movie coming. We just don't know when and why.
Yeah, it could be. Could be Scar.
Yeah, we could do it. Well, when Charlie Cox, as Daredevil, makes his eagerly awaited entrance on She-Hulk, he's going to be wearing a suit that hasn't been seen on screen before, and this was apparently a choice that came straight from Marvel Studios. And She-Hulk head writer Jessica Gao explained in an interview with Lifehacker that although she was given few restraints on how to use the Daredevil character in the Disney Plus series, his costume was a must. She said the one thing that I didn't have control of was the suit. They knew exactly what they wanted the suit to look like, and that's what it ended up being. Daredevil's red and yellow suit, which was first spotted in the She-Hulk trailer that debuted in San Diego Comic-Con, is strikingly different from anything that he's wore on the Netflix show, or that any Ben Affleck wore, or any Daredevil on TV, but resembles the one designed by Bill Everett, which appeared in the earliest Daredevil comics back in the day. Whether this colorful look will have an in-universe origin is up in the air, and as the connection that Cox's version of Matt Murdock has to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still in some doubt. But Cox played the role for 3 seasons of Daredevil, which was clearly woven together with the other Marvel series on Netflix, but was never acknowledged by the films in the MCU. His brief appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home finally established him as the MCU's official Daredevil character actor. That's who Daredevil is going to be. But fans are divided about whether this means that his show's history has been absorbed into canon. Either way, Cox will be reprising the Daredevil role. Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I said that's the question.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, I heard it's not. I heard it's not going to be. I heard it's not going to be absorbed. But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. I heard they're going to do their own thing. Yeah.
Going back and forth. Some people are saying one, some people are saying the other. But either way, Cox will be reprising his Daredevil role for more than just a cameo in She-Hulk. The latest TV spot for the series, which premiered on Thursday, confirms that Daredevil will be teaming up with the titular character Tatiana Maslany's Jennifer Walters. So the two are shown together in a darkened gym, with Cox wearing the same gloves that he was seen in the San Diego Comic-Con trailer. After She-Hulk, Charlie Cox is expected to again reprise the role in the Disney Plus series Echo, which is a spinoff of Hawkeye. So Daredevil will then star in his own series once again with Daredevil Born Again, which is slated to premiere, spring 2024 as part of Phase 5 of the MCU, and has been ordered for a record-setting 18 episodes, which we've never seen Disney Plus do with a Marvel show yet.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. They need to, man. I'm tired of 5 episodes, bro.
I'm telling you, bro.
Hook me up. For all the money I pay.
6 episodes.
Do you think with the new costume, because obviously they're going lighter and brighter, it's going to be a much lighter and brighter tone? I think they're going to struggle to acknowledge the, violence.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they went. I would not be surprised if that's the route they went, especially if they want to appeal to that wide audience. Yeah.
It's all about the casual audience. It really is.
Apparently, though, this was not a Disney decision at all. This was completely a Marvel thing. So as, I can see Disney wanting to lighten it up, but this is a Marvel idea. So we don't really know why they're going with the brighter costume. I mean, it's not like a bright costume. Even the yellow in the costume is kind of dark and mustardy. No. Yeah, I mean, he still looks dark, but that's a very good point, Paul. That's a very good point that I never even thought of, and that kind of discourages me and makes me worry.
But they did it. I'll give Netflix credit. They did it right. Like, they started him off in the black suit, with the hood and with the eyes covered, and that was dope. And they the costume, they got it right. I mean, it's their own version, but they still got it right. So. In the comics, Daredevil's changed his costume about 3 or 4 times. Yeah, he's got about 3 or 4 different costumes.
Several,
right? So this could just be them taking it into a direction where he had a different costume, and it was just a whole different set of things going on.
That's what I hope. I hope it's that, and either maybe that they're planning a storyline that he was wearing that during that storyline.
Right, I mean? Like he was with the other, right? Yeah, right. Because remember when he had the gray costume. Right. We had the gray costume, and the gray costume was dope. When I was a kid, I thought that was dope. I was like,
he had the all black one. He's got a.
He had the all black one. The all black one was hot too. I like
that. Was my joint.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. What did you say?
See how Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters will interact as lawyers. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I'm interested to see how that'll work. I think that could be great if they do it right. I feel like
I mean it's a no-brainer, you know, to bring these characters together. They're both lawyers.
Hold on, guys. Package just arrived. Wait a minute.
Shit.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. I love Alexa. I love Alexa. She lets you know when you get here. Gotta get it off the push. Hang on.
Mine still ain't coming till tomorrow. What did we say? What did he say? What did we say over here? Need a new Daredevil season. It's still better be Hell's Kitchen. I'm telling you. Yeah, his stealth suit to fight the demon was great. Yeah, dude. Daredevil was one of those characters that I didn't get into until much later, like when I got older. I don't really know why, but it's funny because even Wolverine, like, who's my favorite character hands down now, I didn't really care for that much as a kid because he didn't shoot anything. He didn't have any beams or powers. He didn't fly. Like he basically just had knives. And I was like, as a kid, like I didn't get all the nuances and the cool, stuff about, his memory loss and all the just everything that makes him a badass character. That stuff wasn't really front and center as a little kid. So Daredevil is definitely someone that I'm gotten into and gotten a lot of love for recently. Fall from Grace was phenomenal. Yeah, that is a great one. Frank Miller. I mean, Zdarsky's is my favorite though. My favorite Daredevil run is this newest one, Chip Zdarsky. That's probably what made me a fan. That's what really made me a Daredevil fan. Like, I mean, the movie, Ben Affleck, all that, but it didn't really make me like a Daredevil fan. But Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run.
Oh boy, I don't know if it will make anyone a fan.
Right. I was always a Miller fan, but yeah, when the Daredevil film came out, it's like one of those things where you have that anticipation and then you find out more and you go, yeah. And then I saw the costume. I remember seeing it in a magazine. We have like Empire magazine over here, which is a film magazine. And I remember, grabbing Empire magazine and going, "Oh, I can't wait to see what the f is that."
Yeah.
And you do kind of go, Jesus. And and it was just, and it's a shame as well because there were elements that could have been great.
Yeah.
Michael Clarke Duncan as Kingpin.
Perfect.
I mean, obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio was amazing in Daredevil, but Michael Clarke Duncan, it's especially after seeing him be so good in certain other films like like Green Mile or whatever. It was so great to watch him kind of evil it up and be just a git. I was just like, come on, yes,
agreed.
But it was a surreal. And it's weird as well because it always makes me laugh because you've got John Favreau as Foggy, and then then ended up becoming the man who is responsible for, Iron Man, and here we are, So it's quite weird that where people start off and kind of kick off with things.
That movie is really a surreal experience. Like Elektra was in that same film. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And then she had her own movie. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
But the hand and the Elektra movie is same thing. It had some cool elements. It had some cool shit. Really did. And some great effects. So, but the MCU has grown tired of mentioning Tony Stark, so She-Hulk is going to bring in a person trying to be the new Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr., amazing actor, portrayed Tony Stark, kind of made the character his. I mean, that's Tony Stark, which is why fans were heartbroken when he died in Avengers Endgame. His death sort of marked the end of the Infinity Saga, as he valiantly defeated Thanos with that snap from the gauntlet. And now fans remember who Tony is. And the MCU tries to move forward without someone like Iron Man. Phase 4 will end with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which will introduce Ironheart, who will end up taking up the mantle for Tony as the new superhero with the cool suit. but her story will take time before she ends up being, you know, Iron Man's replacement. I'm kind of like, I kind of don't care about Ironheart in one way or the other. I just
think her appearance in that particular film makes no sense. Like she has no connection with anyone there. Like just wait until her solo series, or if Armor Wars is still a thing, you know, have her come into that. You know,
maybe it's because she's a black character. They wanted to bring her in the Black Panther show or movie. That's I bet it's a stupid reason, but could be why they did it. But for the moment, fans have endured endless mentions of Tony and other things about Stark Industries. But She-Hulk is going to bring in a new character, like I said, who's going to try to be the new Tony Stark. The philanthropist, played by John Bass, ends up being one of Tatiana Maslany's worst dates and is introduced as Todd. Disney Plus shares online that the character is a total creep that will constantly appear in the series. It says Todd is a billionaire playboy philanthropist douchebag who wants nothing more than anything to feel like Tony Stark, but comes off as John Bass. He's used to getting whatever he wants, but he's a total creep who starts popping up everywhere. The co-producer Wendy Jacobson said how the actor who plays Todd, John Bass, is great at embodying this misogynist view towards women, but isn't a huge threat in the series, you know, because he's considered to be pretty harmless compared to Jennifer Walters, obviously. But this will be an odd addition to the series, I think, which is rumored to have a lot of cameos. We'll see Ironheart, maybe. Black Panther comes out after, so no, I guess we won't. But it makes sense that the other people in the MCU will be inspired to be like Tony. I mean, there's going to be people that want to be like Tony in the world, but there's people that want to be like Tony Stark in our world, in reality. So of course that's going to happen.
There's people that want to be like you, Reno, in this world.
I don't know about all that, but Marvel fans, that I buy. But Marvel fans don't want to see several douchebags trying to imitate, you know, a character that helped make the MCU possible. But
do you think this is going to be a vehicle series then? Because if there's going to be loads of cameos, it's like setting it up for, you know, Daredevil and X, Y, Z.
Well,
because Marvel does that. They do that with the shows.
I think all the shows are. Yeah, I think all the shows are.
I think so. But
all of them, with the exception of Moon Knight, I think. Because Moon Knight's the only one where whatever happens with him, it doesn't affect the greater Marvel universe. They never reference it at all throughout that.
I don't know that might not. Well, that might not be true for some upcoming. For some upcoming stuff. For some upcoming stuff. It might. Because you got to think. Think of all the deities that we saw, the god deities we saw there, and then you got
the whole Egyptian thing,
and then you got the new Wakanda movie coming up. So you got the new Black Panther,
and you got the whole Egyptian thing, and Kang and all that.
Kang, right?
Now there's
a lot they can connect to that.
Kang in Moon Knight.
Did they mention Kang? I don't think so, but they did.
Like an Easter egg type of thing, because I feel like.
But they could show the gods. They could show the gods in a movie, because Kang goes back to the past and he goes to ancient Egypt and takes over. You know, so
that's true.
It's a lot.
She-Hulk could be like it'll be the nexus for so much in the future. Definitely, for sure.
Paul, you were trying to say something, I think.
I'm just saying. I just think, you know, it's almost like it's the springboard. I know with the Easter eggs everywhere with MCU, and I agree with them. I think they should be there. But this one to me seems like it's the springboard for all of this stuff. Like, you're going to get more than you would normally have bargained for.
Yeah, and
because I think it's tying the old guard in with the new. Having Bruce, it's a literal passing of the torch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I see that. And and the fact of this show being more satire, more not serious, it works more as a vehicle because it's not so involved in itself. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Was Bast or whatever on that Palace of Hidden Gods in Thor. Oh, so well, the bat. I think he's talking about the Panther God, right? Bass or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was a link.
Trailer?
There was a link to Moon Knight in like the Wakanda show on the arm of one of their chairs. There was like one of the Egyptian gods that was in. I don't know. It linked it somehow. There was something like that. Yeah.
And we all know Egypt is in Africa. Where Wakanda is in.
Right. Yeah. Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night and by Midnight Suns.
Oh, don't forget, right? We got Blade.
Yeah.
Right, we got Midnight Suns. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I would love to see that in Phase 6.
Yes. No matter how the show is perceived, I feel like the way they marketed the show, I would be surprised if it didn't get a season 2. I have never seen a Marvel Disney Plus show marketed like She-Hulk. I've never seen it. Like, it's crazy. So I would be surprised if they didn't get a season 2, no matter how the show is perceived.
Yeah. True. Yeah, Norin said Gore was meant to kill many of the Egyptian gods.
Ooh,
dude, there's so much shit that was supposed to happen with Thor: Love and Thunder. Gore was supposed to be a whole other thing. Yeah, Gore was supposed to be all that was a big letdown. That movie sucked. But yeah, Phase 4 might be coming to a close, but MCU fans have a lot to look forward to with Phase 5 and Phase 6. On Disney Plus, you guys can watch Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk on for movies. You got Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness is now on Disney Plus, and Thor: Love and Thunder. You could watch in theaters if you want to waste your money, or you could go on the bootleg website like I did. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever comes out in November.
I enjoyed the Thor review there as well. If you want to waste your money, go for it.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's true.
Stu, I thought you would get a kick out of this, man. So I pulled it down, but check out. I don't know if you probably know about this. Gordy, his new eye, I don't know. He's got some sort of new eye covering, but they said
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, he's evil redesign is a franchise best villain. I guess he's gonna be a villain. Star Trek's Mirror Universe. Geordie LaForge was given a makeover in mind and body, and while this new look, was his coolest design, it also came with a horrific backstory. Fans know Geordie LaForge, right? The chief engineer of the Enterprise, as an affable, competent, somewhat awkward officer. However, in the franchise's Mirror Universe, he's a ruthless warrior, so committed to the Empire and his own well-being that he murders anyone in his way, including his family and the woman he loves. That's crazy. Stu, what do you know about this Mirrorverse?
Oh, I know quite a lot. Back in the original series, there was a transporter accident, and that seems how stuff kicks off in the Star Trek universe sometimes, where Kirk and Spock were transported to a universe that was like theirs, but just was just a total opposite. Like everybody,
right?
Like Earthlings, they called themselves Terrans. They were the bad guys. Not only were they the bad guys, they had no values, no human values, no nothing. They pretty much rose to power and enslaved the galaxy. Pretty much, they were the top of the food chain in the galaxy. As time goes on, their universe evolves, and they actually kind of kept it a secret. So, in our universe, which is where Star Trek exists, we kept it a secret about the Mirror Universe. And then in the Mirror Universe, only very select people knew about our universe. So they knew it existed, but they didn't tell everybody because they didn't want people trying to cross over and try to recreate the same transporter accident. You have people trying to leave the Mirror Universe to come here and be free, and people from here trying to go over there and free it. It was a big thing. So when Kirk and Spock left, they said, look, we're going to keep it a secret on our side. You keep it a secret on your side. And that's just how it was. You fast forward to Star Trek: The Next Generation. They had a couple Mirror Universe incidents. And then you fast forward to Deep Space Nine, where they had quite a few mirror universe incidents where Captain Cisco's wife, who died in this universe, was alive in that universe, and she was his Jennifer. She was exactly, but she was a scientist. She wasn't just a wife and school teacher like she was on the Malinche. She was a straight up scientist. She worked for the Terrans, and Benjamin had to, show her like, look, what you're doing isn't kind of right. Why don't you work for the rebellion? And he talked her into doing it. Fast forward a couple more episodes, she comes back, and his speech worked, and she switched over to the rebellion, and she was helping them build the ship. She stole the schematics for the Defiant, and they were building it to use it to make a fleet of starships that could, or just a ship that could destroy, this like huge giant starship that they had that they would call like a planet killer, sort of like Death Star. And he goes back, and she winds up dying, and a lot of people die in the mirror universe. So she, they always meet somebody there that is their total opposite of what they have in this universe. So like, if it would be like Geordie LaForge, how he's nice, easygoing, he's an engineer, he's a loving guy. He's total opposite in that universe.
Warrior.
Right. Spock was, Spock's the intelligent, always logical. But in the mirror universe, he was the same way, but he was a cold-blooded killer. He was a cold-blooded, logical killer. Like he killed.
I thought they were gonna make him like
eliminate you. No,
make him like Michelangelo or some shit. Make him like a party guy.
In the mirror universe, Earthlings are considered. We're like Klingons times 10.
Klingons, right? Okay. So,
but we're times 10. We're on 10 all the time. Yeah, we're called Terran.
Terran is the Terran Empire.
Terran Empire.
Like the Federation. Instead of the Federation being explorers, the Terran Empire is conquerors.
Conquerors, yeah, they conquer. They maim. They smite. They do everything they can to totally disrespect you, and if they feel, and they kind of eat certain aliens meat, like they're kind of like carnivores a little bit. So depending on the alien. Fast forward to Discovery, there was Captain, forget his name, but he actually came to our universe and posed as a captain from our universe after he killed him, and used the Discovery to go to the mirror universe to try and free the enslaved races from the Terran Empire, but it backfired, and the Terrans wound up finding out, and then it was just a big mess. But I'm not surprised that they made a Geordie LaForge that was like that. I'm not surprised.
Don't forget Chekhov's goatee.
Yeah, they all had goatees. Spock had a goatee. They all had. I mean, and another thing in the Terran universe, the women are very powerful. Terrans are very sexual. They love having. They're actually they love having sex. A lot of them are pansexual. And they just and a lot of them are just they're just very physical. They're just the total opposite of human.
Right.
In our universe. In the Alpha Quadrant,
it's one of the franchise's most enduring concepts. The mirror universe.
People love it.
It's been. But IDW Comics has returned to the Mirrorverse recently, publishing a number of miniseries and one-shots that further explore this hellish reality. In Star Trek: The Mirror War, Geordi, fans were treated to this new version of this, of Geordi. Ruthlessly bullied by his peers and neglected by his parents, young LaForge learns he's truly alone and that he must carve his own future. Young LaForge then murders his parents, setting their room on fire. Many years later, he's now an officer in the Empire, befriends Gwen Liu, another officer working at the Utopia Planitia shipyards, and the two have a whirlwind love affair, but LaForge sees her as competition, so betrays her in order to save himself.
And that's not uncommon, right? No. That's not uncommon for a Terran, yeah.
Right, and then Lou is sentenced. She's sentenced to hard labor in the dilithium mines, where she's eventually killed during the cave-in. The one shot was written by Jay Holtham, drawn by Carlos Rodriguez, and it is this is from the comic. This is, I think, a fan-made version, the actor version of the comic. Pain is weakness, leaving the body and taking anything like love with it. All that's left is cold as the vacuum of space. So he reminds me of like Riddick or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they made him like a Riddick character because he's like this warrior.
Well, LaForge. LaForge is in the Alpha Quadrant in our universe. LaForge is laid back, bro. Like he's kind of timid. He's shy around women. He's not a go getter. He'll get it, but he's not a go getter. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like if you put him in the right position or you put him in the right environment, he'll thrive. But he's not gonna go get it. This is historic to Star Trek and Star Trek fans because we've never seen a LaForge in the Mirror Universe. We've seen Kirk, we've seen Spock, we've seen Kira,
right?
We've seen Cisco, we've seen William Riker. We've never seen LaForge. Never seen what
the Mirror universe is a cold and merciless place. One that can even break men like Khan. And its version of Geordi LaForge is proof of this. In the Prime universe, Geordi is kind and compassionate, right? Like you said, qualities sorely lacking from his Mirror universe counterpart. And part of this is rooted in how Geordi's blindness was viewed in the Mirrorverse. It was seen as a weakness. And so the bullying and neglect that arose as a result sent young Geordi down a dark path. And the one shot also revealed that Geordi's teenage and young adult years were not much better as he became a guinea pig for various experiments, that left him scarred and broken. And so I don't know, man, this is very interesting to me. As not a traditional, Star Trek fan where, I really ever consumed Star Trek stuff. This is making me want to pick up a comic, man. This sounds very cool.
It'll probably be really good. Because even in the when they do First Contact, and they did it in Enterprise. Even Enterprise did a Mirror Universe. The last season, they did like 5 episodes. The last 5 episodes is all about the Mirror Universe and how it came to be. They show, the ship landing, the Vulcan ship landing after Zefram Cochrane's first flight. And in our universe, the Vulcans get out, they meet and greet each other. And then that kicks off a whole renaissance of Earth becoming peaceful and moving ahead technologically, forming the Federation. But in the Mirror Universe, the Vulcans step off the ship and Zefram Cochrane shoots him with a shotgun. And then he shoots everybody else, and then all the other Earthlings shoot all the other Vulcans. They jump in their ship and they take off. And then they go to their world, take over, use their technology. And it's just a big thing after that. The rest is history.
Wow. Look at that
goatee. Evil goatee.
Yeah, the evil goatees are evil.
Oh, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
mine is a full beard, I want to point out, but all this is grey. So that's why you can't see it. It's not. This isn't on purpose. I didn't do this on purpose to try and look cool. This is just old age.
I did this to look cool. Yeah, I did this to look cool. But yeah, I got some grays in the front here. But yeah, definitely. It's like a full beard fade with a goatee. It's kind of my own design.
No, yours looks fine because you've got it all here, but mine's just like old man.
It never came in patchy. Like I had a mustache when I was 14. Like I'm just a hairy dude, Italian, I guess. But scientists are actively looking for evidence that a mirror universe, the likes of which, as we just talked about from Star Trek, actually exists. This is a fact. In the world of Star Trek, you got the mirror universe, established back in the original series. But, in our world, science fiction is often played, with the idea that other planes of existence could be discovered that run parallel to our world, hence, the multiverse and Marvel. And I mean, multi-universes is all the rage right now, pretty much in all pop culture. There's a lot of this going on. Like,
to confirm this, Einstein did confirm that there is possibly a universe parallel to other parallel universes. He said that he didn't say universes. He said dimensions. Like he said, there are dimensions parallel to our own where things are different but the same. They say when you have deja vu, that's you crossing over. How like was it Dr. Strange where she was like, when you dream, that your dreams are you in another. That's you in another universe. That's you in another part of the multiverse. How people say they've been somewhere before, or they somebody might be like, I felt like, some people might say I felt like I was a man in another life.
Or like I feel like I know you,
or I feel
or
like,
like I
right,
remember this, or like I feel
right.
like I've been to this place where I know I've never been. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, like many common science fiction concepts though, like however, this idea is not like plucked from thin air. And there's some theoretical scientific basis for the existence of, possible other realities, with some suggesting, that there could be an infinite amount of worlds and, existence with every possible variation covered, like, I mean, dude, I'm like Rick and Morty, bro. Like this shit is everywhere right now. And this proposition forms part of string theory, but the concept of multiple parallel worlds can actually be tracked to Hinduism. Like you were just talking about past lives. And according to this report by NBC News, scientists are attempting to discover whether a mirrorverse world actually exists by experimenting with subatomic particles. The series of experiments will they're going to do it in Oak Ridge Laboratory in Tennessee this summer, and is going to involve a similar process to the Large Hadron Collider in Europe, albeit with a far smaller tunnel. I guess like CERN, maybe. A beam of subatomic particles are going to be shot down a 50-foot tunnel past a magnet. And at the end of the tunnel, the particles will be stopped by a wall. And the scientists involved are hoping that this will cause some of the particles to transform into mirror versions of themselves in order to pass through the wall. Oak Ridge's Lee Broussard believes that this could, be an indication of a mirror world existing alongside our own. Stranger Things.
Or we might all get superpowers because of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say that, sorry to interrupt, but don't you think it's weird, like what feeds what now? Because it's like, stories are now feeding the science fiction that fed the stories in the first place, and now we have this wicked loop. You look at Terminator and then what we can achieve now in robotics, with time travel and what can be achieved. It's like, one hand's kind of feeding the other now. It's wicked.
Yeah. No, you're right. And
that's true.
It's like a cycle, and it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like it's gonna get forgotten.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, science. You think about submarines, rocket ships. All this stuff was science fiction before it was ever done in real life. There's so much stuff that we, take for granted now that is a regular technological advancement that was in a science fiction book before it was ever created in real life. So science fiction has always been a precursor to reality. But generally what they mean is that they are finding the universe is so big that there could be a multiverse due to sheer size.
Yeah, the universe is huge, so I can't shoot it down.
Multiple Big Bang. Yeah, because it's theoretically it's infinite, and can the human mind really even comprehend infinity? Not probably really.
Well,
not exactly. You can understand it.
Well, we just discovered the atom in the last 50 years, bro.
Yeah, so, bro. We're a ways away from traveling the universe.
We thought space was flat like a piece of paper. So yeah, we're really behind.
You mean the Earth?
No, they thought the Earth was flat, which we noticed.
Well, they still think that's possible. They still think space works like paper. You can fold it.
But before Einstein proved that space had depth, everyone thought that space was flat. They thought it was literally flat like paper. Like that's what they thought until Einstein proved that it wasn't.
So this was their wormhole in the fabric of space. You go in the wormhole and you can end up billions of light years away at this other wormhole because they fold the fabric of space like a piece of paper and punch through the wormhole with whatever technology.
That's just how it works, of course.
Just common sense, right? But if there's black holes, they also think there should be white holes, which could be the opposite universe in every way. Right, like if there's one thing, there's got to be an opposite, right?
Balance to everything.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how I've been noticing, like remember there was like the zombie, everything was zombies everywhere, zombie. Now it's like multiverse everywhere. Stranger Things. Like, I mean, it's really it's
Bro,
everywhere. It's
it's
in
got
everything
people
right now.
thinking, bro. It's
Yeah,
got people thinking, man. People's
it
wheels
does.
are turning.
It's got the people
I'm waiting for
hungry.
him to start. I'm waiting for him to start thinking about spaceships so we can get one and I can travel the universe.
Well, if this phenomenon does occur, the ramifications could prove monumental. But Star Trek fans, shouldn't start planning, what to say to their alternate selves just yet, because the
Oh,
theoretical
jeez.
mirror universe wouldn't be populated with evil versions of ourselves or share the same history as mankind has on this plane. But a mirror world would have its own laws of physics and could be home to like all manner of previously unseen natural features, from small rocks and to entire planets. Um, Perhaps a more accurate comparison would be, like I said, the Upside Down from Stranger Things. Because this creepy world exists separately from the main world, but is always physically present. It's right here, but it's just out of reach. You can't see it. You can't. But the Upside Down looks similar to our world, right? But it has all these differences, and events that happen in one plane can affect shit from the other plane. And with experiments taking place imminently, the state of Tennessee, I would say, should be on the lookout this summer for a little group of geeky kids uh, trying to get into your lab, man. But
Oh no. Oh no.
so Phase 4, man, we were talking about Kang earlier. They're setting up a cosmic villain, right? Bigger than Thanos and Kang, that we all recently got to experience. No. So they're setting up the villain to be more powerful than Kang, the Conqueror. Kevin Feige always promised the studio would over deliver whenever it came to San Diego Comic-Con, and he certainly fulfilled that promise in 2022. He used Marvel's San Diego Comic-Con 2022 panel as an opportunity to announce the entire Phase 5 slate, to reveal the next two Avengers movies, and confirm Phases 4 through 6 are collectively called the Multiverse Saga. This positioned Jonathan Majors Kang, the Conqueror, as the next Thanos figure, the big bad. The overall direction, has been obvious to most viewers. Loki launched in the MCU's multiverse and even featured an unexpected appearance by a variant of Kang called He Who Remains. So that was like a version of Kang that we saw. And since then, the various MCU heroes have increasingly found themselves drawn into different multiversal affairs. Obviously, most notably being the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness film, which introduced some key terms and concepts from the comics that built up towards Secret Wars, a multiversal epic, which I think every timeline collided. And I think that we're heading for Secret Wars. But that means few were especially surprised when Marvel revealed that they were working on Avengers Secret Wars, with the real surprise coming through the speed with which the MCU is pivoting towards that event movie. But surprisingly, the MCU is setting up something even greater, and a cosmic villain beyond even Kang the Conqueror. And Love and Thunder is a massive step along the road towards introducing Null. Remember Null, the King in Black, huge comic event, 2020 to 2021 era. It spanned the whole Marvel universe, involved Venom, Null, King in Black. He's the symbiote god, the god of the planet of symbiotes, and he's ultra powerful. He's got this necro sword, which is an ancient blade of darkness created for the purpose of killing gods. And it avoided revealing the history of the necro sword, simply establishing that it had been forged at the dawn of time, and had been used to slaughter gods for billions of years. Well, in the comics, the necro sword was created by an ancient being named No, who ruled the universe before the dawn of light and life. And he was furious when the Celestials began creating galaxies and stars worlds on which life could flourish, because he viewed their action as an attack on his kingdom of darkness and nothingness, and he forged the Necro Sword as his ultimate weapon against the Celestials, right? So it's notable that Thor: Love and Thunder also suggested Celestials are closely related to gods, with the two present at Omnipotent City, and there's now clearly the potential to introduce Null in the MCU. With the links, between Thor: Love and Thunder, the God Butcher. So the character of Null would fit organically with the MCU's grand cosmology. Thor: Love and Thunder, or sorry, Thor: The Dark World, already established that there was darkness before the dawn of creation, and Null could easily be linked to the Dark Elves, perhaps helping redeem those villains. Eternals built on it, revealing that the Celestials were the ones responsible for creating light and life across the cosmos. So they've all, and it would therefore be very easy for Marvel Studios to adapt Null's comic book story, with the Necro Sword serving as another indicator Null is part of the MCU. I mean, that sword isn't anywhere else. Interestingly, Love and Thunder chose to emphasize the Necro Sword's connection to a mysterious shadow realm, they called it, right? A place where light had not penetrated, that which could be brought into the story quite easily. So in the comics, Null was imprisoned like a millennia ago, and the shadow realm could be his prison in the MCU. There is, though, one complication. Null is not the only ultimate god of darkness in the Marvel comics. He's also god of the symbiotes, the one who created the symbiotes associated with Venom. And the film rights to Spider-Man, Venom, and all associated characters are owned by Sony, including, according to copies of contracts leaked in 2014, new creations. So they're actually, in the contract, allowed to absorb and control new creations in the Spider-Man world that weren't even part of the contract. So this is a very, very well done contract on Sony's part.
Oh yeah,
Marvel not
getting that money.
Sir. But Null is unlikely to be considered a Spider-Man oriented character. However, simply because he operates on too vast a scale. Spider-Man, they like to keep it street level stuff. If not, he's like accompanying the Avengers on something big, but like a Spidey villain is going to be someone more that he can fight on the streets of New York City. Whereas Null is obviously a space deal. So I don't know. I don't think they own it, but I'm a big fan of this theory because I'm a big fan of Null, and I've wanted to see Null in the MCU since the minute I saw him on paper. So this is cool. I think it'd be great. What do y'all think?
This theory makes my head hurt. I'm not against it, but I feel like I'm gonna just focus on Kang right now. See what they do with Kang, because there's a lot with Kang, and I feel like there's just a lot with him. So to try and also set up another like big bad is just whoa. At least for me, it's just like whoa, so.
Yeah, it is a lot. And Norin Mad brings up a great point. I don't want to see Null without Venom either. I mean, that's kind of the whole deal. It's Eddie Brock and Venom and Null and their whole drama that sort of sets it off, ends it. But it's such a great story. Like, if you haven't read King in Black yet, guys, don't waste any time. Go read King in Black. Phenomenal story. Stu, I saw your mouth moving, but I didn't hear nothing.
What if they put Null in that third Venom movie?
Venom is we're gonna get Venom. The next Spider-Man game has Venom in it. There's a few other side projects, Marvel. When they show the other video game for the Midnight Suns, it has Venom in it. We're gonna get Venom. We're gonna get Venom and Spider-Man together. So we'll get Null. And that goes to answer the question too. I read an article a few months back where somebody was asking the question, should we still, for the DC universe, they were like, should we still keep doing Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman?
Right.
And DC has so many more robust characters. Why can't we just get maybe Icon Green Lantern, Green Arrow. You
I
know,
agree.
like why is it like they were saying, how many more times can you tell Batman's story? How many more times can you tell Superman's story? How many more times can he crash on Earth from Krypton or and fight Zod or whatever? They're like, give us something new, give us something different. And I think this is what Marvel's trying to do. They're trying to give us something more than just Iron Man, the Hulk, you know,
see,
Black Widow.
they put in the building blocks to where they can do that. DC has not done that. We have not had a well fleshed out Trinity yet. And I feel like before you can do these other characters, I need a well fleshed out Trinity. Batman, Superman.
You want to see that Trinity done right first before we scrap it.
Before we do the rest of them. Because I feel like if you can't even get that right, I have no faith in you with these other characters that are so precious to me. Like, no faith.
Maybe it's because the trilogy, and this is just a stupid idea, but maybe it's because the trilogy is so well known and been done so much that they have a hard time pleasing everybody by doing stuff with it. So maybe they would do better doing less, less known, or characters that maybe people don't feel they already know 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I think they're in a position where they could do that with, like, if they start with like Black Adam or something. I think it just depends. I feel like I understand with Batman because Batman is so oversaturated right now. And even Superman to a degree, Wonder Woman, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it depends.
Yeah.
No,
I want to see Dylan Brock. Dylan Brock, he kills No and becomes the new King in Black. That's Eddie Brock's son. Yeah. This is Jim Me. Shout out Jim Me. What's good? Our German MC homie. He said, when I was little boy, I loved Spider-Man, and especially I celebrated the Leprechaun. But Silver Surfer was also this is a terrible German accent. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Silver Surfer was also very awesome. Finding a favorite in Marvel is very hard for me. He's a big DC, definitely Batman.
DC, definitely Batman. Yeah. Because Batman's so relatable. Batman's just a regular human, and people can relate to that. You know, you don't have to be able to fly. You don't have to have superpowers. You don't have to see through walls.
The billionaire part.
Have tons of money.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got tons of money. Well, that is his superpower that he's got money, but all of his issues, like this is the thing that makes Batman so great, is no matter how much money he has, all of his problems are relatable to everybody in his chat right now.
Yeah, very
at any given time.
Yeah, he's not an alien.
Whereas
he doesn't have superpowers.
Nope. No matter how much money he has, he still has the same problems we do. You know.
Well, Eternals, the sequel. People are, because Eternals obviously not the most popular Marvel movie. In fact, it's definitely among the lowest grossing and rated, but there's still plenty of anticipation for the sequel. And that comes in part due to the epic cliffhanger. Yeah, the epic cliffhanger from the first installment that saw half the team taken by the celestial Arsheim to judge Earth, and the others circling the galaxy looking for other Eternals. And that came, on top of the debut of Harry Styles' Eros, aka Star Fox. And the sequel may have been omitted from Marvel Studios' Comic-Con presentation and the Phase 5 slate, but that didn't stop, Patton Oswalt from confirming Eternals 2 in recent weeks. Included in that reveal was the news that Oscar winner Chloe Zhao would be returning to direct the follow-up. I don't know why you would pick the same director to do a movie that bombed, basically, but maybe they have a reason. But as fans of the Immortal Ensemble hope Disney's D23 convention will bring a promising update next month, we can only speculate where Eternals 2 could land in the multiverse saga and beyond. It literally could do like anything. But there are several possible release dates. Sorry, go ahead.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was saying, I don't mind if they bring the same director back. I feel like they kind of set her up with this first film because you literally gave her the job of having to introduce like 10 new characters, make it make sense within the MCU, make it make sense within themselves. Like she had a lot to do with that first Eternals movie. So I don't mind if they bring her back because I feel like they kind of set her up. So maybe this time around she'll have more. She can do a lot more since she has a lot less to juggle. So I don't mind. I don't mind if they bring her back.
This is true. No, that's true.
It's a quality over quantity film, though, wasn't it? Because it was like, we've got names, we've got Angelina Jolie, we've got Sam Hayek, who are amazing, but it doesn't mean that if you throw them at something, it's always going to stick.
Right.
You know, it's you know, you go way back to, you know, obviously the reveal of Blade, you know, with the part at the end. That's one character, and he held such great films all the way back in like the 90s. That's a character you should be concentrating on, and you can cut down your budget with one character instead of throwing loads. So I think that would work better.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't been focusing on Blade, because people have been excited about him on almost the same level as Fantastic Four, X-Men. Like, I don't know why he's not a big focus. It's really strange. That's a good point.
I've been really worried or wondering about Blade myself, but
you know what it is? Blade got so popular, and I think that last movie they messed up so bad that they had to say, "Look, we got to come back strong on the next one."
Sticky fingers.
Yeah, they did. It was just bad. Stan Lee said it. Stanley, we got to take our hats off to Blade, because Stanley said if Blade would have failed, weuld have got nothing what we got today. He said Blade
he really opened the door.
He said, and that was the whole premise behind making Blade, because Stan Lee said he's one of our least known characters for the general public, but for the comic book fans, they know who Blade is. So he was like, if the general audience can accept Blade and it goes over well with them, then we can do Spider-Man and we can do this and we can do that. And Blade was a hit. The first Blade movie, the second Blade movie was better than the first one.
Yeah.
That third one was just like, what happened?
Well, Eternals, the Eternal sequel has, you know, several. I loved it. Like I always wanted to see the Celestials. Like ever since Guardians of the Galaxy, the Celestials head nowhere where they, and like knowing obviously about Celestials from the comics, but I really wanted to see. And then you did see him in Guardians, like in those cutscenes, sort of flashbacks, but I really wanted to see him in the movie, and so that was the one saving grace for Eternals for me, was that they had the Celestial in it. But assuming the actor's understanding, you know, of the situation is accurate, Eternals 2 appears to be already have the green light. Zhao, the director, may even already be at work on the project, you know, as she currently has no other upcoming titles listed publicly. So as work appears to be underway on Eternals 2, we still have, like, there's several sort of dates when it could, you know, come out. Marvel Studios still has one. They still have one. Huh?
I don't know why Eternals just.
Yeah, well, Marvel Studios.
It was too woke, man. It was too woke, and I think that's the problem. If you take a lot of the wokeness out of it,
it sucked. The movie was not good. I don't know why they're doing a sequel personally, but they have apparently big people want it. And I don't know who wants it, but like I said,
wait a minute, Reno, not to cut you off. Nobody wanted a second Ghost Rider movie, and we got one.
My God, we did. I still can't believe we had like two of those.
Yeah, we had two of those movies. We had two Ghost Rider movies. The first one was bad. The second one was worse. Like, it wasn't even remotely like a little, like, you'd be like, well, it was a little better than the first. No, it was worse, man. It was just, no.
Yeah, it was definitely
called Nicolas Cage. It shouldn't have been called Ghost Rider. It should have been called Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage yelling at
him. Yeah, it's the spirit of. Yeah, it should have been Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, Spirit of Vengeance, because that's all we saw. We didn't see Ghost Rider in the damn movie. We saw Nicolas Cage 90% of the movie.
Yeah. Well, MCU Studios still has one untitled MCU venture slated for release on February 16th, 2024. Perhaps that may be an opportune window to place the sequel in the Phase 5 slate directly between Agatha House of Harkness and Daredevil Born Again. But most are currently expecting the vacant 2024 date to go to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool 3, which already appears to be beginning filming preparations as well. as Eternals 2 doesn't quite appear to be at that stage of development yet. That ought to push the sequel into the 2025 at the earliest. And they've got 2 available dates left in its Phase 6 theatrical slate. The first falls between Fantastic Four and the Kang Dynasty on February 14th, 2025. And this may be a logical date to place Eternals 2 in order to resolve the cliffhanger of the first installment and allow them to join the Avengers for their fight against Kang. Alternatively, the sequel could slot into the July 25th, 2025, directly between the 2 Avengers blockbusters, keeping the ensemble momentum flowing in the gap between them. And this would allow the Kang Dynasty to keep the focus on Earth's mightiest heroes before the Eternals get involved in whatever conflict Secret Wars may bring. But if somehow Eternals 2 didn't make it into the multiverse saga, right, which, phase, which seems rather unlikely, Marvel Studios already has 4 Phase 7 flags planted for February 13th, May 1st, July 24th, and November 6th of 2026. And these dates are not currently too far out to predict in which it could fall, are too far out. But the first film did fall in November, something which could be replicated. So, yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot, but who knows? Who knows when? There's a lot of opportunities or a lot of potential dates where they could drop it into. But one more thing we want to cover before we dip is House of the Dragon, which we finally got to see last night. Any Game of Thrones fanatics, like you all know I am, have been fiending for this show, waiting and salivating for it to come out. And it finally did. And I was pleased. I was happy. Yeah, it was I mean, I have complaints, don't get me wrong. Of course I do. What would be the fun without complaints? But for the most part though, it seems to be the acting, the actors, the script all seem to be right on par as far as, quality with Game of Thrones. Where it starts to change is in the set pieces and visual effects and in costumes, which are, if there were levels, Game of Thrones would be here. It's almost to Game of Thrones level, but there's something missing, and I don't know what it is. I'm not a filmmaker, but there's something that I can see. It just feels a slightly bit cheaper than Game of Thrones, but dramatically better and more advanced than most other TV shows, because Game of Thrones is really hard to top. I mean, it's, if you were expecting it to be another Game of Thrones, you're fooling yourself. You can't capture lightning in a bottle twice. But if you could, and like as close as you could get, man, I'm really happy with House of Dragon. Great acting. My biggest gripe is the dragons. And that's a big, important thing. The dragons they don't look as cool as the Game of Thrones dragons. They don't seem to have the same amount of detail in their design. And all of the dragons on Game of Thrones had the same features. I mean, they had the same shaped sort of heads, the same amount of like horns, spines. I mean, they looked like they could all be from the same species, but they were different colors. These dragons look like they're even a different species. They've got a different horn configuration. The heads look different.
You have to remember, it is what a couple hundred years before Game of Thrones or something like that.
Yeah, and it also seems like
this could be a different species that hasn't evolved.
Well, no, it's not. It's not. But I get your point by it being a different time. But it's not. They're the same. It's the same species, but they sort of went with a How to Train Your Dragon.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
All different types.
All different types. Like there seems to be different. Like I seem to notice different types.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was all right.
Well, with Game of Thrones, all the dragons they look the same. So, but I'm not worried about it, them looking the same or different. That's not my gripe. My gripe is the quality and scariness.
Of the CG?
detail, of the CGI, the visual effects, like the you know what? Let me get you guys a comparison. But the dragons, the way they just the design of them, were phenomenal in Game of Thrones. Really great detail. I mean, they did not spare any expense. They didn't spare. You know, they're scary as fuck. You know what? Instead of me doing all that, I'm just gonna share my screen with you guys, and we'll take a look.
Yes. Let us see.
Yeah.
Did they look like Smile, or did they look better? That's the best dragon I ever seen.
Yeah, Smog was great, but dragon. So these are the Game of Thrones dragons. Very
Look
see
at
the
that.
and look, they almost look real, like dinosaurs, but different. You know, like they very much have a
beast. Whoa!
Right, like I mean, look at the horns and all the spikes. Just look. I mean, they're terrifying.
Ooh, yeah, I can imagine just seeing that outside my window and
know.
immediately running. So that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, right? And then let's look at House of the Dragons now.
House of the Dragon.
Maybe
Funko already.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's a picture, but I don't know. You kind of here's a. Oh, that's not. What are we doing? That's not, they're not that bad, but they're pretty bad.
They're like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that.
All right. Well, I don't know if it's not gonna let me view the image up enlarged.
I don't know. I thought it was all right, man. I didn't have any problems with it.
You haven't seen the dragons yet. I got to show you the Game of Thrones, the House of the dragons comparison wise. Where the fuck is a picture of the dragon?
They might not be on there yet. You know, sometimes
it
takes a little
bit.
bit.
See if I can get. I know one of their names. Maybe we'll get. They'll do one. Oh, see, that's Game of Thrones dragons. See, they even use the Game of Thrones dragon for the House of the Dragon advertisement. then we get the show, and it's this watered down dragon version, like nerfed. You can see sort of the
backup dragon.
Immediately, I'll tell you, this is how I can explain. The moment I saw the dragon on House of the Dragon fly into the view, into screen, I instantly saw it. Like I was like, that doesn't like it immediately stood out. The detail, like on these Game of Thrones dragons, you see how detailed they look, how realistic they look. Like they almost look like dinosaurs, like real, creatures that could actually exist. House of the Dragons, they're very much more cartoony, I guess is the word. So that's my only gripe. But other than that, and it's a small gripe because it doesn't affect me enjoying the show in any way. It's just my only little criticism, but it's a little criticism. It's not a big deal. Doesn't bother me. The main character, or one of the main characters, Daemon Targaryen. So there's two main characters. There's Rhaena and there's Daemon. Daemon is the prince. Rhaena is one of the daughters of the king. Not the next in line of succession, no, not the princess. But so, spoiler alert. So in the show, you have Daemon Targaryen is the son and heir apparent. At this point, he's the heir to the throne. He's very cocky. He's an asshole. A lot of people think he's going to be a tyrant. He's very arrogant. And but the king has him and his wife. They're having a baby, and if this baby is a son, it will be the heir, knocking Daemon out of the box. The son, the again, spoiler alert. The king, the wife, the queen rather, sorry, she dies in childbirth. The baby dies. So now the king's queen and son heirs are dead, and that makes Daemon the heir again. So happy about that, or cocky about it, he's in a brothel or a tavern that night after the king's son dies, and they are singing a song, and he's making fun. He's saying heir for a day. He's like, the baby was born, he was an heir for a day, and then he's dead. He was heir for a day, like ha ha ha, making fun of it. King gets wind of that. King's like, you know, you making fun of my dead son, like I thought we were cool, blah blah blah. And he's like, you know what, you're not the heir no more. I'm giving it to Rhaenyra, giving it to your sister. You're no longer the heir. So he loses his succession place for the throne, and basically gets banished. So he takes off, and now Rhaenyra is the heir. So she's not queen yet. She's gonna be queen, or could be queen, you know, if the king dies. So she's the new heir. In the novel, and a lot of people's big question is, well, where does Daemon go? So again, spoiler alert. So in the novel that is based on Fire and Blood, this is where Daemon goes to a place called the Stepstones in the Narrow Sea, and he his goal is to sort of conquer an area and make himself king of something. He's like, well, if I can't be king of Westeros, I'll go out here with my dragon, conquer some shit myself, and make myself king of it. So that's what he's off doing. He goes to these islands called the Stepstones and sort of, you know, conquers it. There's not much resistance, and makes himself king of the Stepstones in the Narrow Sea. Comes back, a seasoned, brutal, like swordsman, like badass warrior. Because before he leaves, he's like getting knocked off his horse in the joust. I mean, he's not all that when it comes to fighting. And they show him get knocked on his ass a few times, kind of gets humiliated. And but when he comes back, he's the man. And so when he comes back, he'll be back, and he will bring, you know, an army and dragons and a navy and a whole nine, and come back to take the throne back from Rhaenyra, who he ends up, I think, marrying and having kids with. Because the Targaryens, they marry their brothers and sisters. It's not a thing. That's very normal for them to marry and have kids with their siblings. How they're not all looking like Sloth from the Goonies, I don't know.
Oh my Jesus!
But yeah, so that obviously that's fantasy, but a lot of royal families back in, you know, in ancient times, obviously we know, practice incest to keep, you know, bloodlines pure and succession in the family and all that. So it's not like a made up thing, but yeah, this is the era in the Game of Thrones world where the Targaryens are at the height peak of their power. Because remember, in Game of Thrones, Targaryens are all killed off. There's two left, you know, Viserys and Daenerys. Then Viserys dies, and there's Daenerys Targaryen. She's the last Targaryen. You know, we all see what played out in Game of Thrones. But this is the story of her ancestors, her family, when they were at the height of their power, ruling the world, ruling Westeros and all that. They had the most dragons at any given time. Just everything was prosperous and good at this point. Then the show starts. King's family dies, and shit gets, you know, goes on, and then they're gonna end up getting into a civil war, because at this point the Targaryens are so strong, the only thing that could stop them is them themselves. And that's, you know, ultimately what this story is going to be about. But yeah, man, that's sort of my review. I loved it. I thought it was great. You know, hopefully it stays at this quality and gets better. Game of Thrones, even Game of Thrones first season, it improved as seasons went on, budget wise. I mean, they get more money. You know, they put out that pilot. They have very little budget. This is kind of that. But with House of the Dragon, it wasn't, you know, it's already a very well-established built-in fan base. They don't have to, you know, gain fans or any of that. They can just hit the ground running. So that's what they do, man. And I think they did a good job. I can't wait to see the rest of this show.
That's sweet. I can weigh in nothing but other than go, I saw that Matt Smith was in it. That is as much as I know. Again, just because I've been working, I'm just like, Matt Smith looks weird with white hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Matt Smith is Damon. He's the one that I've been talking about. Is the main guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
Okay. Was he good? Because I know in his last couple of things, he's just had like the worst scripts to deal with. I'm thinking of Venom. So I mean, yeah, I'm thinking of Venom. So
I
not
think
Venom, Morbius. Venom,
Morbius. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, this is far better than Morbius. The show, the writing, the script it's leaps and bounds better. His specific, portrayal, I think he did a great job. His as far as acting and everything, he did good. Yeah, I believe him as the character. I think he portrays it well. They all kind of look weird with that white hair, white eyebrows, white eyelashes. I mean, humans just kind of look weird with that configuration because you have no definition of like the eyebrows, the eyelashes. It just everybody kind of looks weird, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is let's see, can we get a picture? Yeah. All right. And he has an awesome helm and armor setup. He's got this cool demon wings. You can't see it on the helmet there, but there's like a big sort of ponytail thing that goes off the top, and there's big big like dragon wings off the side of it. It's really cool.
Noise.
Yep. But yeah, guys, that's our show, man. Anybody else have anything they want to add before we call it?
Yeah, before we call it, this is what came in the mail.
What came in the mail?
9.8 slabs. Look at that. Look at that bad boy.
Flat out. Werewolf by Night number 32. That is the first appearance of Moon Knight. And yeah.
This is for Norrin Rad. This is from a man, Norrin Rad.
That's the facsimile.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. And it came with a freebie. And Reno, you like freebie. You call them throw-ins. And this was the throw-in.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Ooh. CGC sent you that? Or you bought this? You bought the slab already slabbed from somebody?
Yeah, I bought it already slabbed. Because the last slabs I sent off took almost a year to come back. So I was guaranteed to get this in a couple of days for almost the same price, and they threw in a freebie. So here's the freebie I got.
Black, white, and blood. Black, white, and blood.
Yeah, you call them throw-ins, Reno. So you go, all right, here's the freebie I got with it. So I couldn't turn down this offer.
That's hard, man. I haven't even got that Moon Knight yet. That Black, White, and Blood. I've been waiting for that. That's a nice pickup right there.
Yeah,
have you looked in it? Have you peeped it?
No. It just came in the mail. It literally when I ran out, I was like, hold up, package on the porch. So I had to go get it. This is what it was. So open it up and booyah, here we go. We're good to go. And I'll take it. But I knew, if I would have got the real one before the facsimile, once they announced the Moon Knight TV show, the price shot through the ceiling.
Oh, you mean like the real Werewolf by Night 32?
Yeah, the price shot through the ceiling. Because before that, before that, you could have got that book tagged and slabbed for less than $100.
Easily.
Maybe $100. You know what I mean? Depending on the read. But what I wanted right. I don't mind facsimiles. I really don't. I don't mind buying them.
Hell no.
And I especially like them tagged and slabbed because I know one thing. In another 20 years or 30 years, if the other ones are gone, I'll still have this one. The pages will still be might be in excellent condition. The other ones come across as what 2.9s, 5.8s, things like this.
Well, right now, the original, the not facsimile of that, and a 9.2 is going for $20,000.
All right. Well,
nice. It wasn't a year ago, and I paid. I literally paid.
Now that one you have, that's worth. I mean, that's gonna be worth like $100, right? $115 right now. There's one going for.
Yeah. So.
I
paid less than.
Give it.
And I paid less than that for it. And I got a freebie. So I'm good to go.
Hell yeah. There's a 3.0 of that comic is $1,500.
The facility, the real audio.
No, the original. Yeah.
Yeah, the original. Yeah. So, listen.
20
And
bands
like I
for
said,
9.2.
a year or two ago, before the pandemic, you could get that comic cheap. You could pick that comic.
Bro, before the
cheap.
pandemic, bro, the prices were so different than they are now. I mean, they've quintupled and
Yes,
more. Crazy.
Yeah.
But
I'll take it, man.
But Spawn still cannot fucking crack that fucking $50 mark. I swear to God, Spawn number one.
Spawn number one? Yeah,
like
he's got $50 for
like 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's always $50 when I go up. But that's because they printed 20 million copies of the thing, so it's never gonna be worth shit. But beautiful. Yeah, it's not. It's just too many of them. But yeah, guys, that is our show. This has been Paul Hayden.
It's so my surname is Hayden, but what happened was the nickname Haydes came about, and then Laurie Cunningham, as a joke, put it on Twitter with Haydes from Disney, and then just from this day forth, he'll be known as Lord Haydes, and it's stuck. And now it's just Haydes, and I just kind of go, do you know what? Yeah, I accept it. There are worse things to be called, you know.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. So guys, don't NE1 Con, guys, August 25th and 26th. That's this Thursday and Friday, starting at 7 p.m. GMT, about 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Which is like 11 a.m. Pacific or noon. I don't know. But yeah, you figure it out. But don't miss it, man. It's gonna be great.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So and we'll be back Wednesday at the same time every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. 6 Element Hip Hop. Catch us at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here, man. And that's our show, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for chilling, and thank you for the comments from everybody. Jim, me, Norm, Rad, Slade, Wilson, everybody that came through, Cooks and Hardy Boy and everybody. We appreciate you guys, man. Really do. And please leave us a comment in the comment section. The chats are great, but the comments help our channel and the algorithm to help it grow. So help us out with that, man, and we'll keep giving you good content. Peace, Norm, Rad. Peace to everybody. Salute. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.